Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. Little bit of a different intro this week because you might be listening to us on a podcast or you might be listening to us on Dash Radio. That's right, we've signed up with Dash Radio. This podcast will be played out on that radio station. Go to dashradio.com 5 times a week. 5 times a week. Now, if you are listening to us on Dash Radio, then I feel we should say hello, introduce ourselves. This is the Computer Game Show. We're a British weekly podcast about computer games. We say computer games, it's actually video games. There's a backstory. Don't worry about that. Just forget it and move on. My name's David Turner. I'm sort of the main attraction to the show. I'm the one that sort of built this up. I've got quite a name in England. And Scotland and parts of Wales. I'm known to be the podfather. Matt, do you mind waiting until you introduce? Thank you. I'm known to be sort of setting up the gaming podcast scene over here and around the world, basically. So you'll be the reason. I'll be the reason why you'll be coming back. You'll listen again the next day. I know it. We've got John Denton here. John, do you want to? Who have you written for? Show them your credentials.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, I'm prepared.
Why is John second?
Matt, was that question aimed at you?
It's very unprofessional. Dash Radio listeners already turning off.
Unbelievable.
John.
Lister Wolf used to be reviews editor on Games TM magazine, used to run 360 magazine, went freelancer since, written for The Telegraph, Eurogamer, PC Gamer, and pretty much everybody else, OXM, OPM, anything else that you can think of, really. And now, I do this podcast, so you can see how my career's gone.
Whoa, hold on.
Upwards.
He's slagging you off.
There we go.
Upwards.
The guy that keeps interrupting, and you wouldn't have heard this if you're catching us for the first time, the guy that keeps interrupting, and as we've had many complaints about Matt talking over people, interrupting. Who is this guy? Who does he think he is?
Matt, who is this guy?
Yeah, Matt, do you want to explain who you are?
Oh, can I talk now?
Yep.
I mean, what I'm thinking is many people listening to us on Dash Radio won't really be familiar with a lot of things that John was saying. So I have been editor of the gaming section on The Guardian for about 10 years now. I don't
think you can legally say that, though, Matt.
Oh, can't I?
I don't think you can legally say that.
Okay.
Because The Guardian's, that's so big in America, Matt. Well, great start.
I haven't really done anything in gaming before, but
Matt's done nothing. He's got this attitude. He's done a stream, and he thinks he's Bertie Big Bollocks. He's
done a few streams, Dave. Done a few streams. I mean, pretty popular.
Yep. That's Matt Murray. We also have a fourth member, James Farley, who can't be with us tonight because he's ill. He'll be the one that you'll tune into next week, and you'll be listening to him talk about your favourite game, slagging it off. That's James Farley for you. He'll tell you what happens in the beginning of a game, and then he'll say whether it's crap or not, and then we'll all move on and wonder why he's here. But welcome to the Computer Game Show. It's just quite exciting, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it's super exciting. Broadcasting.
Do you want to list off the other presenters on Dash Radio, show who we're rubbing shoulders with these days?
A little known man called Snoop Doggy Dog. Not sure
Mr. Dog.
Yeah.
I know he's a big fan of computer games, so he will be listening to this, and he'll be going, "Oh, next time I'm over there in England, I'm going to call those guys and smoke a drug with them."
I mean, it's fine now. I mean, we're basically co-workers. We'll probably see him at the Christmas party, sure. Say, Snoop, you bloody idiot! Oh God, you!
Dave,
and then
we'll
get him on the show, etc., etc. I mean, there's some great people like Tyler the Creator. Sure, my favourite T-Boz.
T-Boz is the boy. Yep.
DJ Night Train.
He's my favourite.
Yep, he's one of them. So, I mean, esteemed colleagues. We can call them colleagues now.
Yeah, we can. And I listened to the other gaming radio shows they've got. I think we're going to lift the quality up a little bit.
Not too worried.
Strap in if you're listening to us and enjoy the ride. Okay? Good.
Yeah, I mean...
Dave, you can't boast after saying smoke a drug. You can't boast about anything. It was awful. That made my skin crawl.
Why is that?
Smoke a drug. That's like shooty bang bang games and the other crap that you rail on. That was that bad.
Oh, sorry, have I offended your culture? Sorry, John.
What culture?
degenerates.
Not what culture?
Yeah, I was going to say, stop advertising that.
Matt, have we had any feedback? Sorry, Dash Radio listeners, tune out for a little bit. Go over to Snoop Dogg for a little bit and come back because you won't have heard this. Give it a couple of weeks and you'll love this segment. Feedback from last week's show, Matt. Let's go.
Yes, there has been some feedback. Nick Hanan emailed in regarding James having conquered 11 of the 16 colossi in under 4 hours, and David's disbelief. Here are the statistics. According to howlongtobeat.com, the average time for players to beat the main story is actually 6.5 hours. James's 4 hours of playtime is actually 61% of the average playtime through the whole game. Basically, essentially, with this email, what he's saying is James is slightly ahead of average, but not drastically so.
I think I must have just remembered this game totally different. Like, John, how about you? Did you think, 4 hours to do 11 colossi was crazy, or?
4 hours to do 11... When I played it on the PS2, I got lost a lot, and I must say it seems to be easier to navigate on the PS4, and it's not because I can remember where to go. It may be purely down to the visuals and it not all looking the same, and also kind of understanding how but then he's never played it before. I don't think it's unreasonable, but I think it took me longer when I played it on PS2.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, John, because it says here the average time for players to beat the PS2 version on that website is actually 9.5 hours. That's actually 3 hours more than the PS4 version.
Okay, but even then, I thought it was like a 12-hour game. So maybe I was just way off.
And I mean, James has since posted proof. Could be incredibly
he's
good.
Obsessed with that proof, isn't he?
Could be incredibly good at Photoshop, but he's posted the EV, and he, I for one believe him. I mean, haters will say it's faked, but I think he's telling the truth. I don't know if he's finished it now.
Matt. You're not gonna turn on him after the whole Game of the Year show last year. You're not going to use this as a stick to beat him with. You're actually going to go along with him.
Well, I mean, he's got proof, and it's not fair. He's not here. I'll wait to do it when he returns to the show after he finishes shitting. Lee in New Zealand. Really enjoyed all the Sea of Thieves chat in recent pods, but I realised on last week's show you might have had the wrong end of the stick about the game's upgrade system. Dave and Matt were both talking about a potential of upgrading weapons and items as adding a bit more depth and longevity to the game. But the short answer here is that there are no upgrades in Sea of Thieves. There are also no in-game shop where you can buy better guns or swords. I was lucky enough to get a tour of the Rare Studios in Tricross a few weeks ago and spoke to a few of the development team, and they explained every player will always be getting every voyage with exactly the same weapons and inventory. The idea behind this is it would stop high-level players wiping out newbies with their level 99 blunderbuss or fully pumped out ships wiping the floor with basic vessels. It also means that complete beginners can join a crew of experienced players and still make a decent contribution. The only thing you can buy your gold are maps and cosmetic upgrades. I think it's a bit of a risky move for Rare, but you can see the logic. You can see the logic behind it, but what's the point of all that treasure hunting when the only things you can buy are clothes and weapon skins? And that's from Lee in New Zealand.
That's fair. I mean, I didn't know that, and I think it's a risky idea, but it's quite a noble one. What I will say is that I did read a little bit of like the previews that started leaking out from all these press visits. And there is a little bit more to it than that. Once you level up to a certain level, you get like an upgraded ship and bits and pieces. It's not simply you're just unlocking new hats and stuff. There is a little bit more to it. From what I've read anyway. But yeah, no, I just assumed that you could upgrade your weapons and stuff. The only thing that confused me was that during the first beta, you had a sniper rifle, a pistol, and a sword, and in the second beta you had no sniper rifle, so it made me think maybe you do still have to buy weapons. But then maybe that was just for the beta, I don't know. Weird one, but either way, don't care, gonna try it, gonna love it, it's all good.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with this, like I know, Dave, you were just talking about some of the things they are adding on beyond these cosmetic and map upgrades and all that sort of stuff. But I think we saw in Destiny 2 even, a game that does have obviously tons of loot, but much more accessible loot than the original, how people dropped off of that because they weren't getting that incentive to keep playing. And I've talked before, like, it's kind of devil's advocate, but I talk a lot about how people actually do like loot boxes, whether that's they know that they like them or not. It's kind of irrelevant. And I'm not talking about loot boxes in this game, but for no I like you say, I think it's definitely noble. I love the fact that, it's all about a community playing together and there's not going to be any advantages and it's going to kind of be egalitarian in that respect. But at the same time, it concerns me. I'm not going to write anything off yet, but that concerns me because I think it kind of a little bit flies in the face of both human nature and kind of gamer nature. But we shall see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it works out. But even with Destiny, man, I still got like 60, 70 hours out of it. So,
well, that's very true.
I know for these games, the focus is more on the end game and stuff, but we'll see. We'll see.
It's your issue that it's just cosmetic stuff and not anything that's going to actually upgrade your weapon set and stuff.
Mine?
No, John.
It's not mine well, yeah, I mean, that is the concern. I'm not saying it's my specific concern about playing the game, but it's more my concern about how long it's going to hold on to a community if there is nothing to drive towards or because that's the hooks that have kept people in multiplayer games for a long time.
Yeah,
Overwatch is
like
different.
Overwatch
is an exception, but it's a Blizzard game with a highly competitive game as well. So I think that keeps people looped into that one.
See, I'm more concerned about the combat against the non-player controlled characters, to be honest with you, because at the moment that doesn't seem fun. But it might just be early days with that, and it might get fun later.
I mean, listen, if I can get 50 hours out of this game laughing my arse off, then happy days. It's not. I'm not concerned at all. And obviously, like you say, I mean, it's beyond too early to write it off. We've not even played the thing yet, beyond the beta. So, just a concern when I heard that. But we shall see, man.
All right.
Yeah, Gavlar tweeted in, disgusting to hear you guys slang off the Honda Jazz. For me, it's one of the best small hatchbacks I've ever driven.
I knew we were going to get messages about the Honda Jazz. I'm sorry. I said at the time before we started slating it, I'm sorry, I hate people that do that and whatever, but it's just I've seen, I'm not a fan of that car. Although, saying it, I've never driven it, so I'm a scumbag for saying that. So, just ignore my opinion. Also, I know fuck all about cars, so don't worry about it. Don't listen to anything that I've got to say about motor vehicles.
No, Dave, you love the red ones. They're the fast ones, aren't they? John, thoughts on the Honda Jazz?
Never driven one, mate, but, I rate a Japanese car, so I haven't got an issue with it from an outsider's point of view.
You know what? I prefer American cars.
Okay, next.
Gary Newton. He had a question, and I had a similar question myself, actually. He was quoting you from last week. Dominoes with weird symbols on in Yakuza. Is Dave talking about Mahjong? Now, when you mentioned that last week, and I thought, he probably means Mahjong.
But why didn't you say anything? You can't say that now.
Because James didn't correct you, and I thought, well, James obviously knows he's played the game. But James didn't correct you. And then James later on Twitter said, oh yeah, I thought the same thing. So if anything, James is probably the liar. Is it Mahjong?
Whoa, slow down. Matt, you can't just go, what's it called? Mahjong.
Yeah, Mahjong. You must have heard of that before, right?
No, where would I have heard of that?
It's one of the default Windows games. I don't know, it's just Mahjong. I thought everyone knew about that.
I've never heard of that game. I've never heard of that game.
Really?
And when I sat down, I don't know how to play it. I don't know. How is that insane? Where would I have come across this game?
Not having heard of it and not knowing how to play it. That's not something that's less likely.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know how to fucking play it.
Would you put that? Because I think Gary hilariously compared it to chess. Would you say it's as world famous as chess? I wouldn't agree with that.
Probably because there's more people in China than there are in any other country. You said, is it more world famous?
Right.
Well, there's a billion people in China, so if you play it by the numbers, it probably is more famous than chess, isn't it, Dave?
No, but that's not what I said, though, was it?
I said more world famous. Yeah.
So has it broken the rest of the world like it has?
Well, how many do they play chess in fucking Papua New Guinea?
I don't know, mate.
Right, you haven't got any facts for this bullshit argument, have you?
What? The bullshit argument? I'm not arguing. What I'm saying is that I've never heard of it. You said,
is it more world famous? I said probably based on the fact that it's the national game in China and that's the most populous country in the world.
Okay, John, listen, right? I'm saying I've never heard of it, and you guys are going, well, you must have. Well, I haven't. So what do you want from me?
No, that's fine. But then you said that it's not, it's not as world famous as chess, but you've got nothing to base that on.
I said, is it as world famous as chess?
Okay.
Like you turn
John,
around.
I've got to agree with Dave here, right? I mean, just because China has 1 billion. Oh no, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, more people around the world, I would imagine, know about chess. It doesn't matter if there are 1 billion people playing mahjong in China or whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
But what? Well, you're saying that nobody else
knows numbers. So
your argument
reach.
is there's 1 billion people playing it, but no one else knows about it. Yet your other argument, Matt, was that everyone knows about it because it's one of the default games on Windows.
No. Matt's point was perfect. Matt's point was perfect.
Thank you, David.
It's not about numbers. It's about reach.
You didn't say that.
When did he say that?
But he talked
just
over
said
me.
that.
Oh, I didn't hear you because I was talking over you. How's it feel?
Yeah. Gary come in all smug. Oh my god, he's not heard of that game. I don't know what you want from me, mate. No, I've not heard of it. Sorry about that. I sat down. It was a weird dominoes game with weird little like symbols on it, and I just thought, I don't know what this is. What do you mean steady?
Nothing. Nothing. I think you should do like a streaming series, learning mahjong on Twitch.
I don't think I should, Matt. I've got no interest in learning it. Nope. Not happening.
Okay, Adam late to the party 82 on Twitter. Taking a 2-month child out in the pram. Listen to the latest computer game pod, and Matt Murray refers to me as his friend. It's made my day. Thanks, buddy. Adam was being sarcastic.
Jesus.
Junkyard Gary Dewson. Lads, I cleaned up on Capone's quiz. I can't believe he didn't get sensible soccer immediately.
I can't.
Fake gamers.
Is Gary just turned into the smuggest prick in the world? What is this? You've not heard of me, John? You didn't get the answer to the questions right. But what is this? What is this attack? Is this because we haven't invited him on?
I was fuming listening to that quiz last week. Loved the fact that there was a quiz. Same reason. It's like you're not getting sensible soccer from goal scoring superstar heroes. Like fake. You are fake games.
What do you think about my hosting?
I heard grandma hosting. What did you say, Matt?
No, what did you think about my hosting skills last week?
Oh yeah. Well, I do have some notes generally about the show. Well, I started some notes and then I got so busy that I forgot. But I've written some stuff almost in shorthand. I can't do shorthand. My notes say, "You're a prick version 2." So I remember you calling me a prick again, Matt. You're just asking for trouble, really. Then it says letters and tweets. No idea. Probably something that James did wrong. They were dreadful. And then I've written, I'm not a psychopath, I'm friendly, which if anybody finds, will probably be a terrifying thing to find written on a random piece of paper by me. So,
I'm glad that.
I think people keep calling me a psychopath, but I'm not a psychopath, I'm friendly. But yeah, I meant to write some notes about your hosting skills or lack thereof, Matt. I mean, that was an absolute clusterfuck.
I thought I listened back to it, and I thought it was
like the fucking communist way of doing a quiz show where you just bent to everybody's whims for a minute and just tried to make.
That's what I'm saying. It was like watching a football match where the referee listened to the players that were shouting at him. Oh, was it offside? Yeah. No, got on. Oh, we'll make it offside then. Like, it was just there was no rhyme or reason to the way he was going. Because I listened back to it, and there was a bit where James just listed off games, and then finally got to sensible soccer. And Matt said, "Okay, James, you get a point." And I went, "Hold on, he just listed off games. You said we could have one each." And you went, "Yeah, good point. No point for James." But I'd done it the round before. I did exactly the same the round before. And I just thought, when I listened to it back, I thought Matt had zero control. You know when you're watching a football match and you just think the refs lost control of this one? Like, it's just pandemonium on the pitch that no one knows what's going on. No, he's not drawn a clear line. It was fucking Matt. So Matt, I think every time we play a game now, you have to be the host.
Yeah, I think next time I'm host, I'm going to be a very strong host, I'm going to be a very good host, and a very fair host.
Well, some people... Okay, that's weird.
Slightly unnerving.
Weird sentence.
Slightly unnerving host. I don't know
we got an email from Capone Adam.
Stop talking over him.
He sent me an email saying that he wasn't happy with your because it was his idea for the game and it was a bit of a mess of a game in the first place, but he wasn't happy with your hosting skills. So he sent me an email and I'm going to try and read this because it's just fucking nonsense. He suggested another game for us to play. We're not going to play it. I'm just going to read it out to you. Hey, I don't think this from Adam Capone. Hey, I don't think Matt did justice to my game last week. I'm going to try this one more time, and I want you to be the host, as I think you'll be able to make it much more fun. Right?
Oh, great.
This is his idea for a game.
Used to be something.
Okay, so this game is called Back to the Future of Gaming. Great Scott, he's written that. He's written that. Have you ever thought about how GOTY discussions only come about with the birth of gaming podcasts. It's true. Great Scott. He's written it again. We need to go back in time to before the adventure of podcasting had begun to correct this. Together, you must all decide on a year and travel to and spend 2 minutes and 18 seconds discussing and agreeing the GOTY for that specific year.
What
Great
the
Scott,
fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. This is the sort of mail I get from Adam Capone. People genuinely message me.
This is a sort of mail. Are you trying to pander to American listeners nowadays?
Yeah, a little bit.
I say tube.
Right, okay, Matt, calm down. Settle down.
I've had 2 beers.
People say to me, is Adam Capone like this in real life? Yes, he is. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's fucking irritating. Great Scott, we must go back, but we must go before we are too late. Choose your year now. And then it says in brackets, you can't mention the games until after they decide. What does that mean? Right, I'm not going to read the rest of the email, but it goes on. He writes, Great Scott, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and the game goes absolutely nowhere. Okay. The last sentence in brackets is, I think this is a good natural conclusion to Capone's stupid game. That's the end of the email. I don't know what Capone was thinking. We're not going to play his game. We have got a backlog of games from our listeners sent in. We will start them next week. I promise you. And Matt will be the host every time because I want to see him improve his game show host skills.
Yeah, I'm going to be a great game show host. Possibly the best there ever was. That is it for feedback. If you want to leave us feedback or any questions, thoughts, feelings on the show, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter, or you can email thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
John, because James isn't here this week, it's, as we said to you this morning, you're doing the news. What you got for us?
I mean, we got the message this morning that James is unwell, and then you nominated me to do news, and I said, I'll try and do the news. I'm extremely busy today. I've actually written over 3,000 words. I've edited a video. I mean, 3,000 words. That's all, a third of a dissertation in one day. Just normal stuff. So I didn't really get to do much news. I'm actually slightly disappointed that James. I know James is ill today, but you could have put 4 Eurogamer links in a Google Doc, couldn't he, from his bed?
Okay, I'll tell you this though, John.
Yeah.
Right? You couldn't make it last week. You could have put a couple of the emails in the doc. You didn't know, did you? James did it. So as much as we dig out James, he stepped in for you in your time of need. Right. Yeah, initially, you told us it was work. It turns out you were dicking about with a mate. Right. You let that slip before we started recording the show.
Don't even start.
Dicking about with a mate, and now you're saying that you can't just put the news in.
Well, yeah, no, because put the news in. That's the problem. Put the news in. What does that mean? We have to find the news.
It means copy and paste from you again.
Yeah. So I don't think I've done anything wrong. I tried. I put one story in there that we can talk about. You didn't
try? How did you try? Where was the trying?
I tried to tell you that I wasn't going to do it, and you didn't listen.
John, man, come on. I feel sorry for James.
No, fine. Do you know what? I really regret saying that about James because that was unfair. He's unwell, and I hope he feels better. And he's right. And you're right. He did put the tweets and emails, did a piss poor effort reading them out, but we already knew that. That's why I took him over. The real question is, what the fuck have you been doing all day?
What do you mean? I've been at work.
You're the main one. Why can't... Yes, I've not. You're the main one. You could do some fucking news for once.
Okay, right. I'll say to you what I say to James and Matt when they start getting
all
wild
things.
Right? Do you want to edit the podcast tomorrow?
All right.
Do you want to do that?
All right.
Do you want to edit and publish a podcast tomorrow?
Yeah, all right.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you can do that tomorrow.
It'll be shit, though.
Fine.
First one on Dash Radio.
Oh, right, okay, so that's it. You're gonna do what I do when Joe asked me to do the housework. I fuck it up on purpose to try and never be asked again. Is that what's going to happen?
Yes.
John, come on, I put the effort in. Don't use that argument against me. Don't ever use that argument against me.
Oh, no, don't bring out the ever. Don't bring out the ever. Once is fine. Don't bring out the ever. That's too aggressive. That's too aggressive.
Oh, sorry, John. Have I been too aggressive for
once?
I'm
not aggressive.
Bloody hell. No, just
he's not psychopath, he's very normal. What was that line you said?
I'm not a psychopath, I'm very friendly. But it's true. People meet you and go, oh, God, that John's a psychopath. They don't say that. Well, I don't think they do. They say, oh, that John is quite friendly.
Don't say to your face.
Yeah. Well, I hope not. Because I'll be trouble.
Why'd you kill him? Right, good. Okay, so what news story have you plucked out?
Eurogamer's parent company, Gamer Network, has been bought by PAX operator ReedPop. Now, I know, basically, there wasn't a huge amount of news this week. I mean, I did actually go through and check the previous week of Eurogamer stories, the equivalent job. There wasn't anything that had happened. So
Burnout Paradise being announced, that wasn't... Yeah.
Well, that was announced before, wasn't it? All right, we'll talk about that afterwards.
Okay,
we've done it.
Details.
Yeah. It's been announced 4K.
That news story.
Yeah, it's coming out March. There you go, done. Right, well done. So Eurogamer's parent company has been bought by PAX operator ReedPop. Now, Eurogamer was obviously basically done out of someone's garage. Rupert Bowman's garage, like 18 years ago, started, and it's built and built. Obviously, has the main Eurogamer site, has EGX, has Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, a bunch of other things, and they basically built an empire down there in Brighton. And then they finally, they've not cashed out because they're staying on, but they finally sold to this big company, and it's kind of an interesting situation for the state of gaming expo and events in the UK. I know, Matt, you mentioned something on WhatsApp just after this, and I thought I wouldn't reply. I'll save it for the show. From an editorial point of view, I hope that the website stays the same and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure it will. I'm sure the company hasn't bought them to change them in that respect. But the company that owns, that runs PAX, the company that owns Comic-Con New York, is now basically effectively running EGX as well. EGX is also just announced in Berlin. So this could be an interesting time for these types of shows in the UK. This could really become Gamer Network's main business going forward, which means a lot more opportunities to go and see games, see panels, be with other people. The community. You could really genuinely increase community interaction within this country and within Europe generally around gaming. And Matt, you mentioned that it may open a door for PAX to come to the UK as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been jealous of of the people who can get to go to PAX where they listen to their favorite podcast live and loads the funny panels and this and that, and it's never been over here. I'm pretty sure there was talk of it, but if it was a one-day event, and either way, if this feels like this could very much lead to a PAX UK, or maybe EGX is changing, who knows? But it's exciting. I'm more interested in that side of it than them just owning, Digital Foundry and that sort of network of gaming websites. And hopefully those will remain the same, and it's more just the event side that they're going to potentially take into Europe and UK. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next for sure. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see how they approach their expos over here now. I mean, if I was a big company like that and I bought out and, someone was doing a show at one of my expos, I'd probably give the main one an Xbox One X just to say thanks for all the support and that, and what a great show you're going to do live.
Definitely there's any reason to do that.
Why is that?
What's the point?
Because of what, Mum?
I don't think that's part of the deal. Sorry.
No, that wasn't mentioned.
Could be, though,
it wasn't in the story.
Could be. I want to know how much of this deal Chris Pratt has said is because of him. Do you know what I mean? I imagine him swanning into the office, turning around to everyone and going, let's face it, people come to Eurogamer for me. I put this website on the map, and he's claiming victory on this one. It's just the kind of guy he is. Tweet him, let him know.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Okay, cool. Right, that's it for news, is it?
Yeah. Oh, the Burnout's coming out, apparently.
Burnout's coming out. I'm really not surprised, really. I think, again, we sort of touched on this a little while ago when the rumours were doing around, that this could be them testing the waters and saying, look, how big is this Burnout name, and can it replace Need for Speed, which has dramatically dropped in the past few years. And I mean, it's easy to fall into that trap of being in your bubble on the internet and seeing people go nuts for it, as they rightfully were. The upgrade to the visuals looks fantastic, doesn't it? I assume you've all seen the trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks so much better. I'm really interested to see what they've done with the controls, because we were chatting to Chet about this privately, and we've both played it recently. And, we both come for... I think you were against me when I said this, John, but it feels dated to play now. I mean, it still had that great arcade feel to it. And it was still very much playable, but the way the car swings around, I don't know, maybe things have moved on from that a little bit, and there's just a little bit more realism in these games these days. I don't know if they're going to touch the controls.
I don't think they are, and B, I don't want them to, because then you're fundamentally changing what the game is. And I get what you mean, because if you come from a Forza Horizon where obviously the cars have that much more weight, and Burnout has that very, very light handling. With the cars almost feel like they're made out of cardboard or sort of fiberglass or something like that. But I played it quite a lot when it became backwards compatible, and I didn't feel like it felt old. So that's just like a sort of fundamental disagreement. Then you kind of can't really convince the other person the other way. It's just like, no. I think this. I'd be surprised if they touch anything other than the visuals, but
you're probably right.
We may be wrong, but
right. I mean, there's going to be some interest. There was a lot of talk of whether DJ Atomica's going to be in it, and I know that's like all tongue in cheek, all that chat. But if he is, they're going to have to either re-record lines or just really limit him to what he's saying, because I play on Xbox and he's backwards compatible, and he's chucking out lines that are just not relevant anymore. They're talking about like websites that don't exist and email us at Criterion and all this sort of shit.
Oh yeah.
It's really strange. I'm
sure they can get him in to re-record. I'm sure he's not busy.
The other, yeah, but he might sound older now. You know what I mean?
That's
like
true.
A proper gruff voice. The other thing was, I really hope that they put in the Vote Obama billboards that they had in the original game, just to give you that little bit of nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when they did that? It was nuts.
Yeah, it was.
Just people got up in arms about it. Well, a certain side of the country of America got a little bit upset the fact that Obama was like campaigning on a computer game.
It's weird as well, since Burnout's from Guildford in England.
Yeah. They didn't care. They probably got a fuck ton of money for that.
Yeah.
So, they could give two shits. But
Crash mode wasn't in Paradise, was it?
There's a sort of crash mode. It was nowhere near as good as it was in Burnout 2 or 3. Because Burnout 2 or 3 was set pieces. It was like a puzzle game, essentially. Yeah. With this one, I can't remember, they had a different name for it, but you could at any point click both sticks in and your car would just spin out and you could control it. But the problem was it wasn't really well thought out, because you could literally just go on forever. And it got to the point where it was like, in Bill and Ted, where they fall down that hole and then they're falling for so long they get bored and then they start just chatting to each other. That's what the crash mode felt like in that. Like, after about 10 minutes of crashing, you were like, I'm just going to stop now, because like I could keep going, but this is going to go on forever. So yeah, it wasn't quite as good. But it wasn't about that,
Paradise, I didn't really like as much as the other Burnout games. I felt, I know it is, loads of people loved it and stuff, but I felt going to open worlds sort of robbed it of, for me, like the really amazing point-to-point racing. And
you couldn't really compare it, Matt, because I'm with you. I think my favourite Burnout is Burnout 2, right? I absolutely adored that game. God knows how many hours I spent on it back in the day, right? Some people say they prefer Burnout 3. Some people prefer Paradise. The thing is that they were so different. Like, they really were. They controlled well, and they made Paradise feel as much like the older games as they possibly could, but the very nature of the game was so different to what Burnout 2 and 3 were, that you kind of go, I can't really turn around and go, I wish they did this one, because it feels, I don't know, it just feels like a completely different game.
I can say that I preferred the other more focused Burnouts rather than the open world one. But
yeah, but then there was certain aspects of the open world version that were better than the old ones. Like, the online stuff was miles better than anything.
That was fun. Yeah, and they've announced 8-player online racing for this and 60 frames a second. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Was it March? Sometime in March it's coming out. So
yeah, it's like the 13th. It's just around the corner, isn't it? Is it 13th? Something like that. Or yeah, it's pretty soon. So I'm going to have to get it, because Harry's obsessed with Burnout anyway. So to get it with nicer graphics is going to be a bonus. And to get to play the online side of things again, and hopefully relive some of those moments. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, it comes out March 16th, and
16th.
EA Access owners on. So Xbox will play it a week early. So March 9th for EA Access subscribers. Nice.
Exciting. I'll play it. It's It's been a weird start to the year. Feels slower than it usually does at this point in the year. But it seems like March is sort of building up now, and there's some real crackers lined up.
That's because you haven't played the big guns.
Yeah. No, well, I did Celeste. Oh no, and Monster Hunter. Yeah. I mean, that's not really. I'm not sure how much I'll get on with that, but whatever. Okay, fine. Is that it? That's it for news then.
That's it for news.
Let's do what we've been playing then, and if you don't mind, I will start us off. Because of the update, the Super Mario Odyssey update come out this week.
Oh yeah.
And have you guys been playing this?
No.
Elliot's had a go. I've not.
Really? I mean, I love it. I just don't think it's got legs, which is fine because it's a free upgrade.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that it's done, it's completely got rid of the grinding for gold coins thing. Like within
I've heard about this.
Yeah, within about an hour of it coming out, I had the skeleton suit. And within a couple of hours of it coming out, I had all of the new costumes and everything, because they were quite pricey as well. There was one for 5,000, one for 3,000, and stuff like that. And I just, the game absolutely pumps coins out. It does this thing where it says, hey, travel to this kingdom and the rewards will be doubled. And, you know, although you're paying out a lot more, you get so many coins back that it just makes the whole saving up for coins not a thing.
Yeah, I saw a screenshot and it's like, someone hasn't found your balloon, here's 21,000 coins.
Yeah, I know, it's nuts. But to be fair, I would rather it be like that than how it was before, where you get to the end of the game and you've just got to do the same little level bit over and over again to get 150 coins every time you do it. That one in Bowser's Kingdom, I just had enough of doing that. And I was getting so sick, right, of this happened 3 times in the 3 weeks leading up to this update, where I'd got up to about 7,000 coins, went to work, come back, logged on, and Harry had spent them all on moons. I've already got 999 moons. I don't need any more moons, but he's just...
Yeah,
I load up.
I had 6,000 moons, 6,000 coins the other day, and LED thought, oh, Daddy, I want to play Mario, like, totally out of the blue. And I put on assist mode, and then she went to Red Shop and spent every one of one of the coins.
It's nuts. I always log on. I'm in the Metro Kingdom, and I've got just a huge screen full of moons. And I'm going, well, what am I going to do? Even if I put them into the Odyssey, it's not going to go any higher. The number's not going to go up. I wish they increased the cap. That would have been a good way of doing it. Just increase the cap. The only negative side of it is that it's completely pointless in me playing Balloon World anymore, because it's just, you know, you get coins, but I've already got 9,999 coins again, and I've got nothing to spend them on, which is a shame, but whatever. Yeah, it's fun. It's really interesting to see the trends of people hiding them and people coming up with clever ways to hide them. My favourite balloon that I've found so far was in the Wooded Kingdom, and you know there's that area where you get in a tank and you've got to sort of blast a wall to create a path for Mario to jump up. Someone had gone down to that tank, blasted the wall, and hidden it within the wall.
Nice.
So I was like, where the fuck is it? Oh, there's the tank. So I got in a tank, I blasted a few squares on the wall, and then I found it. And then it was the task of actually getting up to it. It was like, and all doing that in about 35 seconds. I was absolutely, it was good. That stuff is good. But for some reason, there are some people glitching balloons. There's situations where people are managing to put them in places that are just impossible to get. And there's the other problem of it. So when you go up to Luigi, it says, look, do you want to find a balloon or hide a balloon? You hit find, and then it gives you a list of, I want to say, about 12 or 16 balloons that you can find. It gives you a choice, and a lot of them are in the same places. Hopefully that the further you go, I mean, when I first started playing it, just after it launched, everyone was hiding it in the same places. It's getting a little bit more varied now, but it's still, there are trends where the arrow will point in a certain way and you'll know exactly where it is before you even move. But other than that, I mean, it's a free upgrade, and I must have put about 4 hours into it already, and I'm still really enjoying it. I haven't done it in all the kingdoms. Some kingdoms work better than others, obviously, because the game's not designed for this sort of mini game. But like the the Sand Kingdom's a really good one to do it in. The Metro Kingdom obviously is really good. Luncheon Kingdom can be a bit difficult, but I had enough fun with that. So I'm bang up for it, and I'm really happy they've done it. I'm just really interested to see what they do next. If there's going to be another update, or if it's going to be a little bit more substantial. Like, what's the plan? Because they can't just drop it. They can't just go, okay, that's it, Super Mario Odyssey done now.
I'm going to imagine we're going to see 2 or 3 of these other quite different mini games, but within that universe, and then that.
I disagree. I think the next one's going to be a bigger upgrade. I think the next one might be another kingdom. Genuinely, I think it's going to be a big one.
I guess we're nearing E3 time now, so I guess that would make sense for a much larger drop. But it'd be interesting to see
it's whether they do it for free or not. It's whether they do it for free or not. I mean,
how much would you pay for New Kingdom?
For one New Kingdom, £5 maybe tops. I mean, I'd pay anything because I've got to get it, but like, I just kind of think that this is obviously a huge title for them, and the more they build on it with free stuff, the bigger it's going to seem. I mean, my gut tells me it's Nintendo. They're going to charge you for any sort of substantial update, but I think there's a chance that they might just keep building on this thing, keep chucking stuff at it, because they know it's going to be selling consistently throughout the Switch's life at this point. They're not going to just release a Super Mario Odyssey 2 next year. So keep drip feeding it. I think we'll keep it, high up in the sales charts, and certainly it'll maintain its price point. It's not going to drop in price. So maybe that's a way to sort of just keep those sales going at that price point. I don't know. Good though. Good. I like this from Nintendo. It's nice stuff.
I must say, it doesn't really, interest me at all. Really. I mean, when I saw it, I thought, it looks fine, but I know I'll hide one balloon and find one balloon, and that'll be me done. But I'll give it a go. But it hasn't made me rush out to try and update.
Yeah, but
the game.
you've not blitzed Mario. You've not blitzed the game, have you? You've not.
No,
you've not even done the 500 moon challenge.
I haven't played it in ages.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean,
for turn my Switch on, I play Celeste. I haven't put in Mario.
So for someone that's done everything you can possibly do in this game, it's sort of a breath of fresh air. And I'm not done with Mario Odyssey. I still want to play it. I still like it, and I wish there was more content. And this has injected more content into it. And even if it is only 4 or 5 hours worth, it's still nice to be back playing that game, because I love the way I just love it. I love playing it. The only thing that I did wish that it had, and if I was being really critical and picky, I wish there was an easy way to sort of just set challenges for, say, John was playing it regularly. I know James plays it, and I'd love to do it, to have sort of a challenge between just the two of us. So you get one attempt to find my balloon, and no, you can't. I can find James's balloons because it comes up in rotation when you're looking for balloons in certain kingdoms. So James does come up, and I select him and I find his balloon. But I wish there was a score system where I set James one and then he can set one back, and so on. And again, I've mentioned it before, local play would have been really good, where I could hide one and Harry has to find it, and Harry hides one and I've got to find it and stuff. If there was more to it, then it would have kept me playing it a little bit more. But for now, I'm done. I'll go back to it in a couple of weeks or so. And what am I kidding? Who am I kidding? When Harry demands that I play it on the weekend, I'll play it. But I'm not good. I mean, I absolutely blitzed it when it first come online, so maybe it's my own fault really for caning it too much. I just wish there was a little bit more to it. Still, free upgrade, nice. The only other games that I've been playing this week, I played a lot more Yakuza 0, and I traded it in this weekend. I've decided that it's not a game for me. I'd be very. I mean, John, you love playing games and sort of deciding for yourself. You don't like being told what you like and what you don't like, and I totally get that. But I'll be very surprised if you like this, because it just feels like there's a lot of time wasting in it. And it got to the point where there was a fantastic cutscene, and it was like a 20-30 minute cutscene, but it was brilliant. It was full of funny moments and just building this character up and stuff. It was the one, for those of you that played it was the one in the nightclub, the first time you meet the second character. Really well done, really interesting. And then once you got control of that character, you were doing the same shit again, meeting characters that that it feels as though they want every character in the game to be this massive personality, but because of that, they spend too much time with characters that you don't really give a shit about, and there's a lot of chatter that just doesn't need to be in there. It feels like pure filler, and I'm just like, mate, honestly, I don't care about you. Why are you spending so much time talking? It's like, imagine playing Zelda Breath of the Wild, and every little character in a village has like 20 minutes worth of dialogue to go through. It's just like, mate, some characters can be background. They can be like sort of just seasoning. They don't have to be like this. I don't know. Some people, well, a lot of people like this game, and I feel bad for slating it. It's just not for me. If you like it, fair play. I'm happy that you like it. I just cannot get on with this game at all. So I traded it in for Uncharted Lost Legacy, and I have played about an hour and a half of that, and I've enjoyed it immensely from what I've played so far. I mean, it's utterly stunning to look at. The characters are interesting. They move the story on at a decent pace. I can't wait to get on with that. Like, I'm really, really enjoying that. So, yeah, all good.
I would like to play that, because although when that got announced and then it came out, I thought, I'm done with Uncharted. Uncharted 4 was good, but I was sort of glad that it seemed like it was
the same.
Drawing to an end. But this obviously got talked about really highly in a lot of the Game of the Year stuff I heard, particularly on Giant Bomb. So if I ever see it cheap or anywhere in a shop, I might pick it up, because I'm not quite in the post Uncharted 4 funk anymore, so I wouldn't mind going back to that universe.
That's exactly how I feel. I feel there's been enough time between me playing Uncharted 4 and now to say, actually, I could probably do a shorter version of an Uncharted game again, just to blitz through and have fun with. And just look at the stunning settings that it's got in it. So, so far so good. I'll be interested to see where it goes. It seems a lot more open world than Uncharted's ever been before.
Yeah, here's a hub world,
I want to see how they do that. There is, yeah, and I'm in that at the moment, driving about and going to different places and checking stuff out. So, I like to know how they handle all that stuff. And just very briefly, Harry had some birthday money for his birthday. It was his birthday this weekend. He's 4. He had some birthday money, so naturally the first thing he wanted to buy was Mario and Rabbids. So we got that on Switch now. And I played the first world, I think, and it seems all right. It's not as painful as I was expecting. So yeah, I will give a better opinion of that game hopefully next week.
Did Harry want that game, or did you like Harry?
I swear to God, honestly, you must watch. You don't watch children's telly, do you?
Well, we just watch
LED
Netflix.
watches like Netflix and stuff. Honestly, that adverts for that has just been non-stop.
Oh, really?
It's been non-stop. So he's just like, every time it comes on, I want that. And the moment Joe turned around to him and said, look, you got some birthday money, what do you want to buy? He said, Mario and Rabbids. And then Joe looked at me like the way you're looking at me now, Matt.
Yeah, no, he's like, Harry, what do you want? He's like, Lego, Mario and Rabbids. Mario and Rabbids.
Let's go to the game. It was only 35 quid in game. It was the cheapest that I could find it in game. And there was me last week saying, who shops there?
Second hand with no case.
No, first hand.
No, I'm joking.
First hand.
Yeah, I get that.
First hand.
That's not a saying.
So, yeah. Okay. I'm going to play that this week. Interested to see how it pans out. No, he won't play it, which makes Joe even... No, he said it's too hard. So, old Dad's got to step in and play games.
Just take it back and get a refund, and he can use the money to buy something he wants to play.
I've got to be a parent, Matt. Got to be a parent, okay?
I'm a parent.
Good. I'll trade it in for one of the games I want later. Matt, what you been playing?
Just before this episode, before we start recording, I finished Life is Strange Before the Storm, episode 3. I did episode 2 on Saturday, and I finished episode 3 tonight. Oh,
wow. Okay, so what did you think of, our reaction was, episode 1 and 2, utterly incredible, episode 3 shits the bed a bit. What do you think?
I thought episode 1, good and intriguing. I thought some of the writing was a bit weak. Episode 2, I thought was fucking brilliant. I thought it was so good.
It is.
I like it. It got me surprisingly emotional, particularly like the play bit. I thought that was
that's
really...
what we were talking about. We mentioned that at the time, but we had to talk around the issue a little bit. But that whole play scene could have been so crap. that it manages to pull it off with such, I don't know, man, it was really surprising. The fact that you were learning lines before it and then suddenly someone else goes off the script and you're like, what? I wasn't expecting that. I thought this was going to be like a memory mini game. Turns out it's not. And it really hits you, like what's being said on stage. I thought
that was so well pitched, and like obviously it had been the story of Chloe and Rachel have been sort of building up to that point, and you definitely you knew something was building in terms of their feelings and the emotions and stuff, and it was just, I thought that sequence was perfectly pitched, and I thought that was fantastic. And then by the end of episode 2, there's loads of different story threads sort of weaving it in amongst each other, lots of interesting things, and the end of episode 2 I thought was fantastic. It's like, this is exactly the sort of Life is Strange I loved when I played the first series. I thought this is brilliant. Episode 3, having just finished it, I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as you and everyone else had made out. It definitely dropped the ball in terms of like bringing all these fantastically interesting storylines together in a way that was satisfying. It felt like it sort of forgot a lot of that and just like, we're just going to push this forward and then bring in some other angle which like come from nowhere.
Which angle? We can talk about it
with Elliot.
What was that about?
It was just, I'm not going to spoil it, but that's just, I thought it was random. Here's a character who was in before, but suddenly the way he acts is just weird and strange. And
but basically, we can't talk about what happens, obviously, but there's a bit where a character completely changes their character, like everything about them. They're like, why are you doing this all of a sudden? Where has this come from? It makes no sense. Yeah. It feels like a lot was cut.
That was weird because it was totally out of character, but I will say that maybe in other games or maybe in Life is Strange in the last series, they might have potentially like given you a hint that, maybe he is capable of this sort of thing. He had another different side to him. But the fact they didn't, in one way I was like, wow, that's totally out of the blue. But also it sort of shocked me in a way that, it was good actually. But I thought it was strange, but also I was like, wow, I did not see that coming. And it was if they had like dropped hints or foreshadowed it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's this sort of thing. So it was weird, but also it got a bit more reaction out of me than it would do if it was just, oh, is a little bit, I don't know. I thought that was interesting at least.
Right,
but
fair enough. But what about the stuff with the mum at the end? Like, didn't you think, this makes zero sense? Like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah, like there was a storyline with the mum, but then suddenly that was something else. Yeah, basically, episode 3, excuse me, I thought it was disappointing, but I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as the way you made out. And I thought the last sequence with the song was absolutely brilliant. The soundtrack in this game, and even like the main Life is Strange was fantastic. I love it overall, and I can't wait for the proper season 2. And I'm really glad to play this. And I like that there were some nods to the previous game. Obviously, this Before the Storm miniseries is like a prequel, so. Yeah, I like the fact that there were some nods here and there, particularly with like hair colour and there's little things here and there which I think you wouldn't know about, and it doesn't really distract you if you haven't played the main Life is Strange. But if you have, there's some nods there to her past, and actually it sort of makes you want to play Life is Strange again, like the main one. Now that I know a bit more about what.
You don't play anything. You're not going to replay Life is Strange.
I'm just saying, it makes me want to because I know more about her backstory.
Is it so that every 3 weeks someone can talk about Life is Strange on this podcast and I'll sit here and not know what the fuck you're talking about?
Johnny should play.
Groundhog really Day.
No, Life...
I don't think John can play it now after weeks of slagging me off for playing, that stupid high school game you kept calling it or something. It was like every time...
That sounds like Chet Roivas. That doesn't sound like me.
I'm pretty sure it was you, John.
Anyway, I'm very glad I played it, and I'm
glad you feel like that.
It's worth playing.
I'm glad you feel like that because I mean, I think I was just utterly really disappointed with that third episode.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And had I not had that, I would have loved it. So, like, I know it's stupid to say, but I would have just adored it so much more if I hadn't had that massive disappointment.
So you obviously played it when they were coming out properly, and I blitzed a whole lot in like a couple of weeks. But so how long was the gap between episode 2 and 3 for you?
2 months, I think.
Yeah, I guess
2 months.
2 was so good, and if you're like, 2 was amazing, and then building up, I can see what would be more disappointing. Whereas for me, 1, I knew that you guys all thought was a bit disappointing, and 2, I just went straight into it after the second one,
helps. So the expectation
it didn't feel as bad. It didn't stick the landing, but it wasn't terrible. It's just wasn't as good as episode 2 was for me. So I played that, and I played more Dark Souls, of course. I got to second bonfire in Analondo. So,
well, let me just. Can I, John? Have you caught up with Matt's stream?
No, I didn't see this weekend's one.
Those of you that are listening for the first time, Matt does a Dark Souls stream every Sunday night. Our time. So was it 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
GMT.
Yeah.
But honestly, his stream on Sunday night was so good. It was funny. I mean, the majority of it was him talking about his electronic skateboard. To be fair. Electric skateboard. But the fact that there was a wonderful moment, between the first and second bonfire in Analondo, there's that the archers.
Oh,
right?
God, yeah.
Yeah. So at one point, Matt finally got. I mean, it took him about 20 attempts. He finally got past the archers, then ran straight ahead to where that spiral staircase is, where another knight is, and he killed him. So he ran straight past the bonfire. You should have seen the chat. The chat were going, "Stop! No! You've run past the bonfire. Go back! Go back!" And he ran past him. He just got killed and went, "Okay, I'll do that again." And we were just like, "No!"
Yeah, I mean, I looked at both the doors, and for some reason I thought, well, the doors would be open. I just didn't even think to check the doors. I just looked and thought, "There's doors there," and then went on. In my mind, you said, "Let's
doors there."
In my mind, I was like, "There's a bonfire here. I'll look at." In my head, it was like, "There's gonna be in the open," but no, whatever. I died, but I carried on it, and I pushed through, and I eventually did get there. I learnt parrying now. Parrying is really fun.
You didn't just eventually get there. The way you got there in the end, I mean, it took him about another 10 attempts, John, but the way he got there in the end was so good. Like, he ran up to the archer on the right-hand side. The archer got his sword out. He parried him and hit him twice, and then just strolled past him under the bonfire. It was, for me, it was like I was holding up my shield and hoping the guy fell off the ledge.
Yeah.
Like, Matt just strolled up, parried him twice, killed him, and then walked on. It was like I sat there because I missed that. I had to go to bed, but I watched it the next morning, and I was like, "Fuck, Matt, fair play. That is a class way to get past those guys." And all right, it took you a fair few attempts, but you bossed it at the end, absolutely.
It's really fun. Parrying is really fun as well. I'm definitely going to try and do as much as I can for other enemies.
That's where I learnt parrying. Not on the archers, but on the knights. After this second bonfire, I just spent ages learning it, because you will need that skill later.
Yeah.
And that's a great place to learn it, because it's really handy.
So, I mean, how much of Analondo have I done? I presume I need to go to the bosses, but
technically half of it.
Okay. Cool.
But the second half will take you forever. Yep. It will take you a long time. I think anyway. Who knows? So I mean, yeah, I'm really. You got Ornstein and Smo to go, and possibly Lautrec, which you'll want to take down to get the. Sorry if you've not played Dark Souls. This all just sounds like nonsense, but you'll definitely want to get the Firekeeper Soul back for what is it? What's it called? What's that place called with the music, Matt?
With the music?
Oh my god! Yeah, the place with the music, the bonfire.
Firelink Shrine?
Firelink, yeah.
Yeah, because there's this woman next to the first bonfire in Analondo, and I can upgrade my Estus if I give her fire thing.
Don't do that if you beat the trek, because save that.
But I really enjoyed the stream last night. It was pretty wild. It was all over the place, and most of the chat were having their own conversation about all sorts of things. I was just carrying on with this. It was really fun. I loved it, and of course I got half of it was just an AMA where I was answering questions about the skateboard, and at one point I had to leave the stream to come back and show everyone my helmet.
Everyone was right. Okay, his actual crash helmet from the John. Everyone was saying, "I cannot believe you wear a helmet," because you see these people riding these skateboards all over YouTube and stuff. None of them were wearing helmets. Matt's got this bash hat or whatever, and he was trying to say, "Hey, no, I mean, I could fall off at 20 miles an hour and hit a stone, and I don't want to do that." And I just thought, that's not Matt talking, that's Jill. That is Jill.
Oh, no way.
She forced you to get that.
I'm glad I wear it.
She forced you to get it.
No, she didn't. I bought it before she even asked, but now obviously she...
Matt, I know you so well. There's no way
honestly,
that you wanted to wear...
There's nowhere, and we've been over this. I'm happy to wear it.
You usually don't care. You usually just do what the people on YouTube do. There's no way you went and that was no way it was your idea.
They're not wearing helmets, frankly. It's fucking dangerous. Whatever.
Yeah.
Dark Souls is amazing. I'm loving it, and I can't wait to get back to it next Sunday.
It's a good game. It's a good game. John, what have you been playing?
It's been a couple of weeks, isn't it? I've been playing a few odds and sods here and there, but the main thing I'm going to focus on is I did manage to finally finish Celeste, and that is one special platforming game. I mean, up there in the pantheon of the greats, quite frankly, up there with the Super Mario Worlds and the likes, like... Purely from a mechanical point of view, we'd already talked a lot about how accomplished it is. Obviously, its background coming from Matt Thorson, the guy who made Towerfall. It was always going to be solid mechanically, and it kind of goes above and beyond that as you get through. I remember James talking about Chapter 5 of the 7, I believe, chapters that are in the game being a special one, and it absolutely is just an ingenious chapter, both mechanically and in fact narratively. But towards the end of the game, I don't want to even spoil anything really, but it's a game about climbing a mountain, and the end involves a lot of climbing, and that whole sequence is just... It's just like, it almost reminds me of the special road in Mario World, you know, when you go into space and do all those levels that are called like groovy and gnarly and tubular. Like, it's pushing the very limits of the mechanics that you've learned throughout the game, pushing them to the absolute max and asking you to do things that at times almost seem impossible, but then, quickly you realise that you are capable of doing it. And it just strikes that balance so well. I couldn't believe how good it was. And then on top of that, it has this really quite special story, basically. And I have a few misgivings about it, which I'll go into ever so slightly in a minute. But overall, it's basically just like a kind of an allegory and kind of an explicit game about anxiety and depression, specifically anxiety, and sort of overcoming that and dealing with it. And it does it in a far more accomplished way, a far more intelligent way, a more thoughtful way than pretty much any game I've seen. Certainly games that are purport to be actually about that stuff, or a game that I'll talk about in a minute, which handles that stuff about as badly as you possibly could. But Celeste is just done with such craft and care. And in a world these days of safe spaces and people sort of carrying into their shells and all that sort of stuff, that and this terrible advice that you see given out on social media about how to protect yourself from anxiety, which is like the counter opposite of the clinical advice that you actually get when you go and see professionals. A game like Celeste, it clearly comes from a place where somebody who's been through that, who's certainly probably been counselled around that sort of stuff. And I talk from experience, and because I suffer from a bad anxiety disorder, I'm happy to talk about that. It's very vicious and can be quite debilitating. And so obviously this game holds a special place in my heart. I think the only downside to the narrative, which is all told through just brief, kind of the opposite of Yakuza, I guess, brief and very sort of economical little conversations between the characters, just written up in text at the top. At times, it's just a little bit too explicit about what it's all about. It feels the need to do one or two sentences about, I suffer from this, and this is what it makes me feel like. And I just think that the game explained that and showed that through mechanics, through the bosses that you fight, just so beautifully that it didn't need to be that explicit. And if I'd been, if I'd been able to come in and be an editor, I'd just chop those lines out, because it just didn't need them. It kind of cheapens it ever so slightly. And I get it if you're younger, or that's a bit condescending, but do you know what I mean? It might help some people understand what the game's about, so I guess in that respect it's good. But I don't think it needed those lines. It was a bit, it's a small criticism.
It's got to be hard. I could be wrong, but it's got to be hard for a smaller team
100%.
to have the confidence to drop lines like that, to turn around and say, I think they'll get it from just this. Like, they've obviously got something to say with this game, and there must be that fear amongst them saying, are people going to get this if we don't spell it out a little bit?
Well, yeah,
more?
and it's totally true. And to be honest, I was kind of picking up on where it was going quite early on, because it felt like it was speaking to me in a way that, hopefully it doesn't speak to a lot of people in the same way, quite frankly, because I don't want other people to go through that sort of stuff necessarily. But, so maybe the fact that it does get a little bit more explicit. There's one particular scene, I guess you can call it, where the main character, Madeline's talking to another character from the game. There aren't many characters in the game, 3 or 4. They're just talking at a campsite, and it has some dialogue options. It's a really nice moment, but I think it could have been better with, less less obvious dialogue. But again, if that stuff hadn't been in there, I think you might be right that it probably maybe wouldn't have got the praise that it's got across all the reviews and conversation from everybody that really gets what it's about. So, in that respect, you're probably right. But from a personal point of view, when you're dealing with something that's near perfection and it just drops the ball ever so slightly for you, it's a shame.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, these aren't, I don't even want to harp on about that. Like I said, the tiny misgivings when you pick holes in something that you consider truly great. I would easily give this game 10 out of 10. I think it's a phenomenal piece of work, amazing platform game, an amazing, very special game, and like good 8 hours as well. It's not that short.
In terms of gameplay, how frustrating does it get? Because obviously
really.
It's pandering to the this is rock hard.
Yeah,
and it's,
it is, but the quick restarts, instant restarts,
always helps,
single screen. Yeah, I didn't find it was more just like there's a couple of times where I felt like I needed to take a break. A couple of times where I felt a little let down by the sticks on the Joy-Con specifically, not so much the Pro Controller. But never a point where I just felt like, like angry or wanted to twist the Switch in half. And saying that, I do remember Elliot saying, "Daddy, don't bite the Switch," because I do tend to bite things, so I get stressed. So saying that, maybe I did get a bit frustrated, but I was mainly just frustrated in myself because most of the time you can kind of see what you need to do. You just need to have the composure to do it.
You can see what you need to do, and the controls are so tight that it's not the controls that let you down; it's just your ability to execute effectively. Even not the
but
bits
that's what these games are about, like, right? Because Super Meat Boy was very much like that. It was never at any point did that game stutter to make you lose, or there was some weird glitch that fucked you up. It was always, I could do better here. Like, I know what to do. I'm just not. I haven't got the skill to achieve it yet, and that was frustrating.
If I personally, it's frustrating in a different way, right? If I think about the times that games have made me angry, FIFA. The scripting in FIFA, the bad design in single player games, bad encounter design, poor AI, just like glitches, things like that have caused you to die, 10 times in a row, bad boss design, difficulty spikes. That I get angry because of the designer. The design has made me angry. Whereas in a game like this, even though it winds me up, I'm just getting annoyed at myself. So there's never a point. There was literally never a point where I blamed the game. I blamed the designers. I blamed anything in the game, like Matt says. So I didn't find it really at all frustrating, apart from just almost like, John, you're a fucking idiot type frustrating. But that goes instantly the second you restart. So, I
well, that's it as
this.
well. The instant restart stuff is, you can't underestimate how important that is, because, I mean, when we're talking about, it's all about the game and your skill level rather than anything to do with the controls or anything that's fucking you up. When you've got a game like, say, Trials, that obviously is more physics-based. Yeah. And it feels like you can be screwed over a lot more than say, Super Meat Boy. But because of that, all right, you get frustrated with Trials a hell of a lot more than I ever did with Super Meat Boy. Like, Trials used to send me into that cold sweat phase where you just feel I can actually feel the sweat on my forehead and it's colder than my forehead. You still played it because of that instant restart. Like, if there was a loading time between hitting the button to restart, and then that game would have lasted about 5 minutes. But instead, I put hours and hours into it because So when you've got a game that's so mechanically tight, then that sort of frustration is lowered compared to what it is against, like, say, Trials. And that just, is so important that you restart straight away. Like, it's so important.
Yeah, it's fundamental, I think, to these types of games, these kind of single screen or single scrolling screen hell platformers. Without that, you're completely right. They basically can't and don't function. Yeah,
and I mean, the other good thing with Super Meat Boy was when it showed you each attempt that you had, because I don't know why, there was something in my head that when I screwed up in Super Meat Boy, I was like, at least that looked funny in the
I love that feature. That's a great feature. One more interesting thing about Celeste as well, from a personal point of view, but Elliot's been playing it, or people will know that he's into games, obviously, and platform games from the Super Mario video, but he expressed an interest in, like, the look of it when he saw me playing it, and he liked the artwork as well. And he's now about halfway through chapter 4, and he asked me to help him, and I refused because I've seen him be capable of doing the difficult bits, and I figure, well, if I'm going to do this screen for you, you're not going to be able to do the next screen, so what's the point? You might as well not play it. And I was amazed. Matt knows the sort of boss fight chase at the end of the third stage is pretty tough, right?
Yeah, it is.
And he actually finally managed to do that on his own. His death count for chapter 3 was 814, which is huge. But I feel like it's the immaculacy of the game's design is what's allowing him to kind of remain calm and just keep going and understanding. He's getting a bit frustrated, but he's kind of talking through it with me, and it's been amazing to watch as well. Watching a 6-year-old do that stuff is still pretty damn impressive because the game is so hard. He continually blows me away in that respect. But also,
I struggle with that. I struggle with when I should take over. And obviously, Harry's a lot younger, so he's a lot more emotional when he can't do something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he's literally just turned 4, and I felt like with Elliot, it started to shift. It started to shift a bit at 4, but it's only now really 6.5. With a lot of gaming experience behind him as well, that I'm being a bit more firm. And again, it's only on certain games. Like, I will help him when a game involves a puzzle that involves logic, because he's 6, like, he can't do a Zelda dungeon. His brain just doesn't work like that. Yeah. But something is, 2D platformer where you can see how to get to. A couple of times I've gone, I think you need to do this, give me a bit of a hint. But, not actually doing any hands-on help. But I think there is a tendency with parents, and this is a slight tangent, to always want to help, right? And it's this classic trap that you have as a parent where you want to do everything. You have to do everything for years anyway, because your kid is just like a fucking weird plant pet. They can't do anything, and then it comes a point where you have to start being harsh. I feel hard. I don't feel nice saying that to him. Like, won't help you. No, I won't help you in this fucking video game. You have to sit there and do it yourself. But it's just to try and help him, and hopefully, I genuinely think as well that attitude of not giving up and staying calm and mentally focused and playing this game,
gets life skills.
Yeah, definitely. I think that'll help in life, and I like stuff that's transferable like that. So we shall see. But I can see him finishing the game. It might take him a long time, but he has the tools.
No, I'd tell you the one thing with Harry. I mean, he blows me away what he can do already.
Yeah.
He's wall jumping, he's doing that ground pound jump, and he could do one of those hat fling things.
Yeah,
he's fucking 4, so it's like blows me away. But there is still that moment where he falls off the edge of the Lost Kingdom down to that dark bit of the forest where the dinosaur is, where his face just drops, and he's he's genuinely scared. And I'm like, okay, don't worry, just give it to me, and I'll get you back up there. I'll find the nearest vine and get you back up there.
I remember playing Mario 3D World with Elliot when he could play, but he couldn't. That there's a couple of levels where you go on the back of like a weird sort of dinosaur. He could not handle that dinosaur falling down to his death. Like, it used to make him well up and burst into tears. Now he doesn't give a shit. But and also he can smash that level out, no worries. But yeah, he literally couldn't play that level because it upset him so much. So that's probably something that scarred him forever. But what can you do?
Yeah, it really affected me the other day when we were playing Mario and Rabbids, and we was like killing the Rabbids, and he just turned around to me and looked at me and went, like, I defeated one of them, and he went, "Is that Rabbid dead now?" And I was like, "No, he's just not here anymore."
Yeah. So I'm now at the age where I say, "Yeah," which is fucking crazy because he watches me play some Monster Hunter, and I'm like, "Well, we're just gonna carve the monster up and take its skin and use it as armor, and also the food you eat is dead animals, so that's life."
I'm pretty sure that monster's now going to be under your bed haunting you because you killed it, so good night.
Yeah, they're not scary though. The monsters in that game, but yeah, it's parenting, it's good fun. Fair. So moving on, honestly, Celeste, please play it, everybody. An amazing game. Moving on, a game that I was asked to review by Trusted Reviews. I'd never heard of it. It just came into
That's a big gaming website, John. A bit harsh.
What? So we done then, Matt. That was good.
He likes the old switcheroo.
Yeah. So this game is called Past Cure. Now, I'm almost certain neither of you have heard of it because, no.
Past Cure?
Yeah. It's a weird name, right?
I think I might have seen it on like one of those websites where you sign up to get code and that, but other than that, no, I don't know anything about it.
So this came in, I said I'd do it, and it's basically fucking hard to describe actually. It's a German game, it's in done by an independent studio, but it looks like it has like AAA standards 3D game. It's an action game where you play, and this will be a good indication of where we're going. You play as a guy called Ian. Yep.
Okay, tell me more.
There needs to be more Ians in games.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of gaming's biggest icons.
Yep.
Personally,
Ian. Best new character of the year.
Ian is haunted by dreams.
Wow, how many names has he got?
Yeah, he's Triple Ian. Ian cubed.
Triple I.
He is haunted by dreams of mannequins, right? So I'm making this game sound more interesting than it is. He basically, the game starts where it's like third person guy. He's like the most generic looking game character of all time. He has like sort of hair, a beard. He's wearing a suit. He wears his suit to bed every day. He never changes his clothes. But that's another fact. He starts a game in this weird, like fucking weird room, and these weird mannequins keep coming out, and he's shooting them in the head. And you're like, oh well, I mean, this isn't hugely original, but it's all right. And then he wakes up in bed, and you go through this like 2-hour fucking arduous tutorial of how to play this basic ass fucking action game. Basic stealth, basic shooting, and then these weird like puzzle sequences where he can astrally project and go and hit switches, but he basically all he does is crouch down, looks like he's got a migraine, and then you just fly about for a second in first person and like hit a fucking weird switch that's in the sky and is weird. And he can also slow down time, but it's really shit. So, and they talk about those two things. You have to basically do an hour of tutorial to use both those things. You've used them a million times in a million other games. They're not difficult. They're in other games. Anyway, yeah, past cure. After all this sort of 3 hours of build up, this guy, he's waking up, he's having these nightmares, he's lost the last 3 years of his life, his memory's gone. The only person he speaks to is what?
I said, poor Ian.
Yeah, but Ian's suffering, mate. He's suffering. Although he has a fucking nice house, a beach house, and he sleeps in a suit and just only wears a suit. So
I can't imagine ever sleeping in a suit. How uncomfortable would that be?
He doesn't have any duvet either, and he sleeps on his back.
What?
Yeah,
Ian's sleeps on his back in his suit.
But so the only person he speaks to is this guy called Marcus, who, well, he keeps calling you brother, but I don't know if it's like Desmond in Lost or if he is actually your brother. I couldn't work out. I think he's actually your brother. He's not Scottish. And like there's this massive build up to this first, like you're going to go to this hotel and there's like a lead there and you're going to find out what's going on. You're going to find out all this because you've seen a lot of surreal shit before then. And you're going to find out like, what's happened, why you've lost these last 3 years of your life. And then you go there and it's a parking lot. It's not a hotel, it's a fucking parking lot. And then you go through a door and it's another bit of the parking lot. And then you go up some stairs and it's another bit of a parking lot. It's like, what the fuck? What is this hotel? It's just parking lots. And then you go in and there's people in there and you have to either like creep up to them and do a stealth kill or shoot them. And like you can shoot them in the head and nothing happens. Or it's just bad. It's just bad. Like it's just one of those games that's badly made. You don't really see any, for long anymore. You pop up from behind cover, bang, bang in the guy's head, nothing, bang. Oh, that time it hit him and he died. Just bad.
Really?
Yeah,
so it's glitched?
Just bad. Yeah, just bad collision detection, badly made. And then I was looking at it more and I was like, God, this game's fucking dreadful. And then I was looking like through all these parking lots, like it's done in mazes of cars. Like you see that in games before, but I was looking, it's like, you couldn't even got the cars in here. This is impossible. There's no doors to get the cars in here, but they're all parked nose to nose in a way like it's physically impossible. I mean, I can't believe you made this game. So I felt bad.
So what does it look like? What is it? First person?
No, so it's third person action game. And it looks okay. I had it running on the PC. Really weird. It would go from super smooth to like basically breaking and skipping like an old CD in when you were trying to run with your Discman in your pocket back in the day. And I was like, okay, well, I'll change the graphic options. Maybe it's my PC. No graphics options. There's an option for graphics options, but you go into it, nothing there. It's just empty. So I was like, well, okay, well, it's not a lot I can do then, is there? It's not really, I can't turn it down. So this just runs like this. And it's just a truly awful game. I gave it 1.5 stars.
Sorry, just to explain that. So you go to graphics options, and it's just a blank screen.
Yeah, it's just a blank screen. I don't know if they're patching in graphics options. I don't know.
Brilliant.
But Yeah, just the, and you just like, you go through and I was like, okay, I'm going to get through this 8th bit of parking lot and it's definitely going to be the bit now. I'm definitely going to find out what's going on. I'm going to find this lead. The story's going to continue. Go through the door, parking lot, more guys. And you're just like, I can't do this anymore. This is like playing a game from 15 years ago that was bad then. I haven't played a game that shit in a long time. Fucking awful. Ian, sort it out, mate.
Honestly, get out of that suit. Get a
good night's sleep in, and then you won't have to put up with this shit.
So what are you thinking?
I want to hear more stories of that.
10 out of 10?
There must be more stories like that about games that have options that are just completely blank, or there's something that they've completely missed. Please email them in, because I want to hear. Yeah. I love stuff like that.
I mean, fuck
it's just like, funny.
But you look at it like in the trailer. You can watch the trailer and like, damn, this looks alright. Like, it looks interesting. They there's a lot of Evil Within in there. There's a lot of the developers say they wanted to make like the Inception video game. They didn't quite manage that one, unfortunately. But at least they tried. But at least they tried. Is that a fair thing to say? No, probably not. I don't think that.
Hold on. So the car park?
Yeah.
Is that essentially in a dream?
No. This is real. This is the hotel that you go to.
Right, that's real.
But it reminded me of when you have your kids' garage, where have like the bits that go around the outside, like the ramps and all the garagey bits around the outside of a building. Because the only reason it exists is just stick toy cars on. This is what this hotel was. Yeah. It was just this sort of multi-story car park wrapped around a building that you could never get into because every single staircase was blocked. It was just. Fucking hell.
I like those bits on those little garages that you buy that just have bits of road that lead to nowhere. Yeah. That just lead to carpet. Yeah. And you're like, well, where do I go now? Yeah. Just off-road.
Yeah.
Go. The tutorial you speak of sounds like every
tutorials you speak of.
Sounds like every first-person shooter tutorial ever, because it's the same deal. You start playing a first-person shooter game and you're walking through a thing and it goes, oh, press B to crouch. Yeah. Press A to jump over this, and I'm going, sorry, if you're not instantly just pressing every button to see what it does the moment you get into a first-person shooter game, then I don't know what you're doing. I already know how to crouch because I just jammed all the buttons as the moment the game loaded up to see what it did.
Yeah,
you don't need to tell me how to crouch down here. It's not needed. Or the games that go, look, do you remember, this still happens occasionally, definitely during the Xbox, the original Xbox era and into the 360 era, you would start a first-person shooter game and it would go, okay, look up to the light, now look down, and you're just like, oh my god, I cannot believe I'm doing this again.
It was quite new in Halo when they did that. I was like, oh wow, this is sort of incorporating,
Yeah,
but now
it was new in
like,
Halo,
not again.
Because that's how they started it. But then when you're playing like, games a lot later on down the line, you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I'm perfectly capable of hitting start and changing the option.
Yeah, exactly. Although I wish I would make it clearer. I know it's bad, but I still can't wrap my head around of X-axis or Y-axis. Just say up or down. Just say, do you want up and down inverted?
Yes, are you an architect?
Well, I don't work in X and Y.
Got you.
I mean, fair enough. I don't know. I know even less than you about architecture, but I thought you'd have at least known the two fucking planes of axis. But I guess not.
On David's drawings, it's just up and down.
Yeah, up, down, left, right.
Up and down. I've changed it. That's why half my buildings end up in wrong cities. Right, next.
I've got one more. No, I bought the Bayonetta double pack on Switch. I had a lot of train journeys
I'm tempted.
And I mean, I've been playing the first one. It's just still an absolute stormer. It's difficult to see Bayonetta on the screen, on the Switch screen. A little bit, a lot going on, and it's quite small, but it's not too much of a problem. And I don't need to talk about how good Bayonetta is. I hadn't played it for a few years, and I never actually finished it. But some of the stuff isn't dated as well. I'm skipping all the cutscenes. They're not charming. They're just annoying, and they go on for ages. And
I like them.
I thought I did. I liked them back in the day, and I'm sure I think they're tightened up for 2. But yeah, fucking hell, they do go on. That little Joe Pesci guy's going on and on and on, or the guy in the bar. It's like, mate, I don't give a shit. But I'm enjoying.
The biggest problem with 1 when you go back to it is realizing how little licensed music they got in it, and it's got the same bit of music on repeat. Oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this one again.
Yeah, but really enjoying it. Obviously, like mechanically, it's phenomenal. But I was kind of wishing for some more fighting, less platforming. I forgot how much kind of weird platforming stuff there is in the game.
Yeah, there was a bit.
But it's quite old now, 8-9 years or so, is it? I don't know. But the encounter design, like when you're in the fights, is just absolutely superb. Like the responsiveness, the ridiculous amount of attacks that in your arsenal, how batshit crazy it gets. Some of the set pieces. We all know this sort of stuff. We know this about the game, and I'm very much looking forward to finally playing the second game. I have the second game on Wii U. It's been in my drawer ever since I got it, but it's just not really a game I can stick on in the lounge. It's just like, I can't be bothered with that conversation.
I want to ask about that, because I've seen those that I haven't played either game. What I know about the game is that it's got that it's got the female character with like glasses and whatnot, and Sean had a wank over her. But I've seen those Instagram adverts for this, and they're all like obviously incredibly sexualized. It's like non-stop climax action, take her with you wherever you want. Does the whole game like play on that hypersexuality?
Oh God, yeah,
massively.
Yeah.
But it's just
her clothes are made of hair that when she does a special attack disappear. Yeah. She just goes naked for a bit.
It's kind of funny and tongue-in-cheek, and also, the character herself owns it. She's the dominant character in the game. Yeah. She's the dominant character in the story by a mile. Everyone else is a chump compared to her. So I think, in my opinion, is not remotely sexist. It's just like, it's more like something, I don't know, like, I could go into it deeper.
Yeah, I mean, I've never got a good barometer with this stuff anyway, but I never, I look at, I very rarely get outraged by stuff, which is probably a personal flaw or whatever. But
that's stuff not in what Yakuza, listeners of this show are thinking, but okay.
There's stuff in Yakuza 0 where I thought, this ain't right, you know what I mean? And I've not read about this stuff in this. For example, because people want me to give an example, there's a bit in a nightclub scene where one guy is just like forcing himself on a woman, and then by the end of that scene, the whole place is clapping him because he's buying drinks for everyone. And I kind of think, how's that got overlooked? How is he getting away with that? Maybe it's dealt with later on in the story. I don't know. I didn't get anywhere near finishing that.
Just traded it in,
but
filth.
I doubt it. It's weird, but I never felt that with Bayonetta. It never felt like. I never felt uncomfortable playing it. It did feel like tongue-in-cheek, and that it was part of her character, that sort of sexualization, and, she was using it as a weapon more than anything else. Yeah,
exactly, and it's funny, and it's daft, and it's just, it doesn't feel...
maybe I'm bad, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, my thoughts about a lot of this stuff, but...
Yeah.
Just at the same time, I'm not going to play it in the front room because it's violent, it has blood in it, and also I can't bother a conversation of like my wife going, "So what's happening right now?" It's like, well, no, actually, it's like a postmodern parody of sexualization. No, okay. I don't want to do that. So.
Also, Sean had a wank over. But the one thing that when I think about playing this game on Switch, which, I'm considering playing, definitely the second one.
Well, if you buy the second one, you get the first one for £10, so that's why I did it. Yeah.
Okay, sorted. Well, the feeling that I get is that playing it in handheld mode would not be an issue with this game. It feels though the sticks wouldn't be a problem, and the fact that the buttons are not that small.
Controls are fine, absolutely fine. I'm sure they would feel a bit better doing it on the Pro Controller, but everything does. But they're absolutely fine, and it's just when it's really mad, and say it's like I play on the train, so sometimes you have to deal with the sun, especially this time of year. So you know what I mean. It's just like it's not even worth talking about. Like, oh, well, the sun shines on the screen. It's not. I mean, that's not even worth saying on a podcast, is it? It's just like, grow up, deal with it, or just do something else. Get a book out. Just fucking do whatever you need to do to get on with your life.
So James Farley's got that problem every day of the week these days. After he's ripped every single blind down from his house, like he can't be anywhere in his house and not have sun on the screen. I don't know. I suppose it's very intense, that game. Like, you've got to be totally focused when you're fighting, and that probably doesn't help matters on a smaller screen.
There's that, and there's my train journey back after a very long week. After I played it for about an hour and a half of a sort of 2.5 hour journey back, and I must admit, I was starting to get a real bad headache, and I was like, I need to stop. This is pretty fucking intense.
That's the point. Playing it on a train, though, you're not worried about people overlooking your shoulder and seeing something naked.
I couldn't give 1/4 of a shit. Mate, I don't care anyway because it's just... But they're strangers, I don't give a shit. But also, I've been on that train. I see some shit, man. I remember just seeing a guy, he was on, like, some sort of gay dating app. Felt all power to him, but I just happened to glance between the seats in front, and that was just a whole lot of cocks. I mean, a lot of cocks. And he did not care. He was just scrolling through. Good 20 minutes. And he, you know, he was just organising his evening or weekend entertainment.
Why were you looking for 20 minutes, John?
What?
Why were you looking for 20 minutes?
I wanted to see if you're on there.
It's not wrong with that. 2018, mate.
I remember, in contrast, when I was probably about 18, 19, someone got chucked off a bus for reading FHM. Like, and I think it was after there was no...
Sounds pretty puritanical.
When they banned... He was reading FHM on a bus, and some guy come up and... Like, the bus driver stopped the bus and went upstairs and said, "We have reports that you're reading pornography." And he was like, "It's FHM, mate. There's not even anything in it anymore. Like, they banned all that stuff." And he said, "I don't care. Get off my bus, you pervert." And that was it. And he got kicked off, and I felt so sorry for the guy, but I just sat quietly.
Shit.
Meanwhile, there's a guy at the back with Encyclopedia Britannica with a razzle in the middle of it. Not knowing anything.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
I'm reading the entire Encyclopedia Britannica.
Okay, right. That's it then, right? That's your games.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. Yeah,
that's your list.
That's my list.
Good. All right, should we get on to emails and tweets and then get out of it?
Yeah, let's do it. So it's emails. If you want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. And we're going to kick things off with Mr. Christopher Denby. He says that there's no specific rules on it, but most people understand the idea of cult films. Is there such a thing for video games? If not, then why? If yes, then what games should Chet and Nick be discussing on the cult game face-off? I see what he's done there. If he's referring to Chet Roivas and Nick Leonard, who do cult film face-off, shout out to our friends there. Listen to that podcast. Ciao bless, Dangleberries. So cult games, I think there totally is. I think there's definitely...
I thought about this a lot, and I'm thinking... Is it me, or I mean, it's because it's almost definitely because I'm more ingrained into the world of video games than I am films. But it feels like these sort of niche titles, these sort of cult titles, get a lot more coverage than the cult movies do. Is that bollocks? Am I just living in my bubble?
I mean, you could basically argue that Bayonetta's a cult game, really. Like,
I suppose you could, yeah.
I mean, in terms of, it's not got had crazy sales. You know, I imagine if I went to, more where normal people go, like my gym or something like that, nobody's going to really have heard of this game. So, and then you get stuff like Deadly Premonition, Shadows of the Damned.
Monster Hunter will probably go into that.
I mean, maybe, not now maybe because it's been on TV a lot, but yeah, I think before, definitely.
But are you getting that confused with niche? Like cult and niche.
What's the difference?
Well, cult would be
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know what difference. I'm not here to explain that. I'm just saying. I think you probably think Monster Hunter is niche, whereas I wouldn't describe it as niche. And I wouldn't. But
right, okay. What's the difference?
Well, niche is a small but very invested market, so you can make a lot of money out of a small amount of people. Whereas cult is something that's gained, a following over
notoriety.
Notoriety over a period of time through whatever reasons.
So, what game would you not that we've mentioned? Would you not count as cult then?
Well, no, I think you would. Yeah, I think you were trying to just put Monster Hunter in, but actually, that's more niche than cult.
No, I would say. I mean, I think John's right. Maybe not now that World's out, but beforehand. Certainly in this country, anyway. Obviously not in Japan, but over here, I'd say it was definitely cult. Like, the people were raving about that game, and it wasn't getting a huge amount of sales. Like, there was a point where, fans of the game over here were saying maybe the next one won't come out over here, and that's really depressing. It certainly had that cult following for me. Or it seemed to from my point of view.
I agree with that. I think something more like that, Hatter for a Boyfriend or something, that would be a niche game, So the shit
Matt,
that James
you were essentially the rugby fan trying to join in with the World Cup chat,
mate.
And then the moment we dug a little bit, you folded.
Pipe down. I mean, Deadly Premonition is the first thing I think about when someone says
is
cult
that
games.
Niche or cult, Matt?
It's cult, mate. Cult.
I'm looking forward to the next time that you use niche in your next marketing presentation to a client and have to pretend like you know what it means.
Well,
Exactly.
I'll just replay this podcast and say, "There's your description, up yours." Do you want the website?
Yakuza? Would you put Yakuza in in the cult status?
I would. I guess you might have to go even like there's quite a lot of cult games really. It's like
PUBG.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, yep, let's go.
Right, next up is from Richard Sawyer, aka Spug. Evening, guys. Great show. Loving.
What's up, Spug? What is up, Spug?
Let's have a Spug bowl.
Spug is my boy.
Evening, guys.
Spug.
Great show. Loving the addition of John, even though he will probably be responsible for asphyxiating at least one of you at Resd in April. Brackets tickets purchased. Good man. Being responsible adults, what are some of your jam eaters' favourite movies and or TV shows? I've never heard that turn of phrase before, jam eaters, but yeah.
What's that?
Kids.
He means child.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
I've been exposed to Zig and Sharko recently, and I firmly believe...
What is that?
I don't know. I'd be better off letting my boy play with cars in the street. Keep up the good work, Spug. Yeah, my kid, the youngest, is blazing the monster machines all day, every day. All day.
Oh God, but that's genuinely okay. I can deal with blazing mud. I mean, it's when you do that sort of obvious thing of trying to pick it to pieces, like it is weird.
It's fucking weird.
The fact that Blaze is the only one with a driver.
Yeah.
There's everything's made of cars. The crabs, the flies, everything is a car except for the few humans
the last
that
people
are in
on
it.
Earth.
It's like wearing air wheels, stuff like that. I read I don't know, one of these bloggers that got passed around on mum forums and mum groups on Facebook going, how can they make the roads? They've got no hands. And you're just like, oh yeah, I know, but shut up. But then in the same vein, Harry turned around to me the other day and pointed at a car and went, Dad, is that car aerodynamic? And for a 4-year-old, that's pretty good. Fair play. I mean, he should know what it is, for fuck's sake. But other than that, him saying that word was impressive enough for me.
It's amazing. Although a lot of those words come from Blaze, don't they? They like Cody repeats some weird ass shit.
There's that aerodynamic song. Yeah, that's where he's got it from.
Right, yeah. Velocity.
Is Elliot is he in the Nick stage yet? Like Nickelodeon stage? Is he watching Amazing Gumball and all that stuff?
We know he watched a lot of that shit before, like Adventure Time and stuff like that, Cartoon Network stuff. But at the moment, he's kind of into movies, like actual movies. Watched all the Harry Potters with Nat, so I had to enjoy that this weekend. And we were just watching Avengers, so he's just he's moving on to like films now. But then again, it was like I caught him watching fucking Peppa Pig the other day, but he's been ill, so let him off. But
regress, innit? It regress. I'm looking forward to Harry getting into the sort of Nick stage where like there's a little bit more substance to the shows that he watches, because at the moment it is Paw Patrol, Blaze and the Monster Machines and stuff. But then he's well into Dougie, and I've got so much time for that show. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Hey Dougie is still probably the best kid show that I've seen.
Yeah, easily. But it's not been too bad. The phase that I'm worried about, John, is when they get into the proper Nickelodeon, live action
iCarly
sitcom setting. Yeah, all that stuff that I am not looking for. It's coming. It's going to happen.
Get my TV in his room, lid.
My dad had to go through Hang Time, Saved by the Bell, all that sort of stuff.
Dreaming,
so I've got to go through it. California Dreaming. There he is. He had a leather jacket. He was cool. Round the Twist was alright, yeah. But right now it is just it's basically Blaze and we're going through the YouTube stuff, the constant Super Mario Odyssey playthrough videos. It's horrific.
The boys don't really know about that yet. Elliot hasn't discovered.
Really,
YouTubers.
How have you avoided that?
Cody watches some of those crazy ass kids ones that they're not supposed to watch now because of that one Medium article where that guy decided that he was a doctor and said that they're going to destroy all children's psychology, and then you watch them and it just...
What, Ryan's kids review, toy reviews?
No. Did you read that article? And like, there's kind of like weird automated YouTube kids videos that are just like weird animations with weird songs, but some of them are really fucking weird. And there was this thing. There's like some of them are like quite scary, but this guy just decided it was a good article. But he, what it's like these days. You can't just write a good article anymore. You have to.
The ones I didn't get when it's literally like 10 minutes of Peppa Pig crying. It's like, why? Why is that a thing? And it's got 10 million
because
views.
it's the internet, isn't it?
Yeah.
They think it's hilarious. That's the weirdest thing. When like Ryan's Toys reviews, the first time I'd never heard of it. The first time I watched it was some kid playing with some Hot Wheels or something, and like Harry was watching it, and I just thought, oh, this is awful. Why are you watching this? And I scrolled down, it's like 40 million views, and I'm like, what? And then I looked it up on the internet, and Ryan's mum was a teacher until she was earning like $1 million a month on just putting these videos up. So she quit teaching and just did these. And I was like, you're fucking kidding me. Are you kidding me? My God.
Cody was watching a video of a kid in a soft play place, just like going down a slide, going through a tunnel, climbing up a thing with really weird sound effects. And he's just watching that, just like, this is pretty good. So, yeah, fuck knows. The kids, aren't they? He's only little.
In terms of Zig and Sharko, Editor's watched that. It's I'm not sure if it is, but it looks incredibly like Ren and Stimpy. It feels like the same animation style. That's a bit out there, but she's watched a fair bit of that as well.
Okay.
She's still into Shimmer and Shine.
No, not really. She's more into things like Luna Petunia. She's watching like the Lego Friends stuff on Netflix. My Little Pony still, Littlest Pet Shop, Little Monsters. Loads of these are Netflix original series. She's watching that basically a lot. But Shimmer and Shine.
Dash Radio are well happy we signed up in it.
Yeah,
they're well happy right now.
Yeah, we also got Disney Life, so she's watching like a lot of the Disney movies. But that's about it, really.
All right, cool. Next.
Right, one more email. We've got, hey fellas, it was revealed during Matt's most recent Dark Souls stream that he has an avid passion for longboarding, so I wanted to ask if the other members of the show had any unusual or surprising hobbies from their past or present. Cheers guys, love the show, and it's from Ben. Dave?
At one point I did get into Games I say Games Workshop, I just bought the figures, I didn't play the games or anything. It was Man-O-War, I think it was called. The boat one and Blood Bowl, but didn't really, go past. I couldn't even paint them. I was rubbish. I just sort of bought them and looked at them, and then that was it. And was there anything else really? I guess not. I'm just it was all about football and computer games for me throughout my whole life. So that was pretty much it. I suppose radio's a bit weird. Like I'm properly, not so much these days, but I was properly obsessed with radio at some point, listening to weird LBC shows like Late at Night and discovering new talent, and because in radio they put a lot of like sort of newcomers in at the graveyard shifts and stuff, and then just constantly checking all that stuff out was really interesting. But that was about it. Yeah, I mean, I've got some weird YouTube watching habits, I'll tell you that. I looked at our TCGS account's history the other day, Matt, again, because I did that a while ago, and it is like tech video, road rage, tech video. You know who's been using that account. It's just Matt, Dave. And I've gone through, I don't know, do you know those Pedo Hunter videos? I can't stop watching them, and I don't know why. I mean, horrific people being, their lives falling apart in front of your eyes, I guess. I'm not going to lie to you, I find it weird. I don't know why I watch them, but I watch loads of them. It's pretty horrific, actually.
Do you like watching?
I don't like it, though. I get angry. I watch them, I get angry at everything about them. Like, it just, I don't think it, I think because it blows my mind. I don't know. Fuck it, it's weird. Don't watch them. You'll go down a wormhole and that'll be it. Game over. Okay.
We've just been kicked off Dash Radio, but that was...
Hi, Dash Radio. Oh, sorry, Mr. Snoop.
I don't really like... I mean, people know that, like martial arts and fighting and all of that, but apart from other hobbies, not really. Sports, football and that, and obviously video games, but yeah, no, not really. Matt?
I mean, I've had a billion, of course. I mean, yo-yoing at one point.
Yo-yoing?
Yeah, I had this like 80 pounds.
What, when you were a kid though, right?
Oh, how old was I? It's hard to say. Probably too old.
31.
What?
Well, like 20. You weren't over 25, were you?
No, God, no. It was when I used to like be taken to the shops with my parents. So I don't know.
Yeah, so like the ones when they brought out the ones with the lights in and they would spin extra.
Like lights, man. I'm not a dickhead. No, it was. Oh God,
Look, Matt, you get a fucking electric skateboard everywhere. Of course, you're a dickhead.
Yeah, well, I've admitted that already.
Well, yeah, you also said you weren't, but okay. No, when those, I mean, they don't count. When you were a kid, I mean, I was into Pogs and I was into Mad Max.
I was older than I should have been, and I took it a bit more seriously than I should have done. And
what do you mean?
Like how? It's like £70. I think. Oh, what's the name of this fucking yo-yo?
£70.
It was an amazing yo-yo, and I basically. So when I was young, my mum used to take me shopping, all sorts of places. Dad used to work in London, or whatever. So like he used to basically drop us off on the way, like often like Guildford, Kingston, that sort of area when I lived down south. And I went to Route 1, which was like the skating shop, and also sold yo-yos at the time. And I went there so often. I had friends there, and basically
the yo-yo and skating shop. Yeah, I know the one.
Route 1's actually the biggest online retailer of skateboards, which I thought they were dead, but anyway, whatever.
And yo-yos. What if you combine the two? Can you yo-yo and skateboard at the same time?
I mean, I probably
bet that was the dream.
I can still split the atom, which is like a really complicated yo-yo move. Whatever.
Right.
You're doing that on stage at Res.
You took the words out of my mouth there.
This is going to be a great stage show. I've had loads of weird hobbies, of course.
Dave, when he's doing it, shall we just all leave out the back and just leave him out there on his own?
Yeah, just 10 minutes of yo-yo at the end of the show. 10 minutes of yo-yo at the end of the show, yo. Come on. Matt, so you can't just say I've had loads and just mention yo-yo. What others?
I mean, just any fad. I've done that. Okay, I never got into Games Workshop. I never got into that. I never understood that.
Loom bands? That was never a fad.
No, but
loom bands?
I think that was... No, because that's recent, isn't it? No, I wasn't doing loom bands. What other things have I not done? It's pretty easy to count things I haven't done. I never got into Pogs.
No, just tell us, just give us another example, so at least we can riff on it. Come on.
Okay, well, more recently, a weird hobby is that I absolutely love finding, like, weird rappers on Instagram that think they're massive and they're clearly not. And all
fucking hell, that sounds pretty good.
Like, there's one called like 6ix9ine, and maybe he is big, but
he's fucking 80 million views on his latest video. What are you talking about?
No, but it's just like
I like these niche rappers.
His videos are
There's
amazing.
one called...
I've discovered this guy 6ix9ine. He's one of the biggest artists in the world, but I discovered him.
I didn't say that.
I found this unknown character called Eminem. What's interesting is it's a white man, but he also raps. I can't quite understand.
Anyway, I like following weirdos on Instagram. I haven't got any other habits I can list right now, but basically anything that's been a ridiculous fad in the last few years, that.
I really thought you were going to be like a guy with like 125 followers who talks like he's Kanye West. Now that I want to follow, but no, you found like the biggest star in the world right now to people under about 25.
Have you heard of Elton John? Listen, let me tell you about this character. Okay, next question.
All right, that's emails done. So it's tweets time. If you want to tweet us, it's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. All right, we're going to kick things off with Rikaku Police, Tom Doughty. Oh shit, this is to James. Well, we can answer it. We'll definitely have a good answer for this one. Dr. Farley, what are your thoughts about the CCP potentially removing the term limits for Xi, apologies if I pronounced that wrong, to remain leader after 2023? Brackets, please don't let Dave shoot this down. Power through,
the good thing
James.
about this, James isn't here, but I've literally got his exact response because I posted it in our friend iMessage group. So,
God, do we have to? Can I just shoot it down? He's not here. I'll shoot it down. I think it's a great idea. Good luck to the Chinese. Next.
Darren Gargett, what's the worst game you've achievement hunted for? I'm currently doing Perfect Dark Zero and it's shite, but I'm a micro penis away from completing Rare Replay, which is a fucking weird sentence. That's the one and only time that'll ever be said. I have never achievement hunted anything. My brain doesn't work like that, so good luck to you.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've never fallen into that trap. I've never got to the point where I've cared about an achievement. I mean, I don't dislike them. When they come up, I'm like, oh, I've got an achievement. But that's as far as it goes. I've never actively sought out. I mean, there was a few in Crackdown that I was going for, but I was never trying to 100% it. And if I didn't get it within like 5 minutes, I was like, okay, forget that then. So yeah, how about you, Matt?
I mean,
you don't play games long enough to activate the first achievement, do you?
I mean, there's only two that I can really remember that I really probably focus on. That was...
He's only got 2 achievements.
His game of scored is 10.
You quite finished?
Ooh, go on, Matt. Yeah, good.
One of them was in the orange box and getting through Ravenholm with just using the gravity gun. You had to like pick up like the saw blades and stuff. I did that.
Fucking hell, mate! You talk about this every week.
Well,
you did it. Well done.
And the other one was the Mirror's Edge one, which I'm.
Yeah.
That was the fucking answer. I'm literally answering the question with my answer.
No, you said, "What's the worst game you've achievement hunted for?"
I don't do
Half-Life 2 and Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, no. The answer is no.
Let me guess, Matt. I mean, you haven't told me this story before, but am I right in thinking that you tried to do it without killing anyone, but then you found out that you killed someone in the first level right at the end? Was that what happened?
Yeah.
Of course it fucking was. Next.
Right, Petrick at PII313. This could actually be, weirdly, a tweet about micropenises as well. Depends how you want to read into it. Last week, David critiqued Yakuza 0 for having a small open world. Would you rather it be larger but full of nothing, size over density? Or was that only specific to Yakuza 0? I like the smallness for a change, making it more intimate and with less fluff. Read into that what you will.
I mean, that's a fair thing to say. I don't think I made my point well enough if that's what came across. So I'll sort of clarify that. Firstly, you're saying, would you rather replace this bad thing with a bad thing? And I was like, well, no. I'd rather it be good. But no, my problem wasn't necessarily the size of the world. I guess it was more that I didn't feel that I can get lost in it. There's the area is quite small anyway, but there's only a very few amount of like buildings that you can actually go in. A lot of it
very
does
few
feel
amount.
Very few amount of buildings
says in the box.
that you could. Yeah. All right. Okay. Come on. I'm all right. It's late.
Like it from the
also, I can't speak English. I mean, a lot of the buildings you can't go in. It feels like a lot of the like the characters that are walking about the streets offer nothing. I don't know. I didn't feel like I was immersed in that world. And before I traded it in, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to watch some video reviews to see if there's any hints of what I could be missing. And they were saying, it's so great to just walk around the city. And I did not have that experience. I was like, it doesn't feel great to walk around that for me personally anyway. And if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. But
I just have to put that at the end of it.
No, I know, but I feel like I do because these people are crazy. The people that like Yakuza 0
it's way
are
worse.
Crazy. Yeah, okay. Right, just so we're clear. I don't know. There was just nothing to that world that interests me. So, yeah.
That's fair enough.
Have that, you bastards.
I've just realised something. James had time to write about Chinese government, not the Guns N' Roses album, actual Chinese government, but didn't have time to do a couple of news stories from
You can't use that as an excuse. You had time to do stuff last week and James still did do your emails. You can't use that. I've got to defend him there, John.
Yeah, you absolutely can't.
No,
absolutely can't.
I was going to choke you out, but now I'm just going to break every ligament in your knee.
I didn't quite finish it.
That is not what you said.
No more skateboarding for you, Matt. I'm going to break every ligament in your knee. Right, moving on. Sam Quirk says, Matt, what product do you use in your beard? And have you had any... Oh, that's it. What an interesting tweet. Have you had any electric skateboard mishaps yet?
What products? So I use Brisk beard oil, get that in Boots, and Woody's beard balm.
Fucking
in terms of and I use beard shampoo also from Brisk, I think, but that's just like twice a week.
We've spoken about your beard dam, right?
Oh well, yeah. I only really used that once, and I've had like a massive beard trim since then. My beard is
You've only really used that once.
Just
and
it's a £25
pounds on it.
But it's a hilarious pot for like one Super Saturday. Anyway,
Jesus.
And I stacked it for the first time on an electric skateboard on the weekend, but I'm fine. That's it. So only once.
Tom Durbin, if you woke up one morning with the knowledge and motivation to make your own game, what kind of game would you make?
What type of it? If I had I'd like to think it was like an amazing shooter, but I don't think it would be. I think every time I've added like a game idea that I've been happy with, you get those game ideas and you think, actually, this is a pretty good one. It's always been like an arcade sort of half puzzler thing, like Freeze. It's always been a bit like that. So I'd like to think that it was some wicked shooter where all this cool shit happens, but I think it'd just be a crappy number puzzle game.
That's
what I
a
think
number puzzle game.
A number puzzle game.
Sixes. You never guess what it's like.
What about you, John? You must have game ideas all the time.
Yeah, to be honest, like not massively. Okay, Matt. No. Just let me fucking speak. Honestly,
all right. There's that gap there. I just wondered.
Fucking 1 second.
Dead air,
Yes,
John. Dead air.
second.
We don't want that in this show.
Shut up, both of you.
Ooh.
My game's going to have music in it, so
okay,
fucking deal with it.
Here's mine.
Whoa, hold on. It's got music in it. It's got music in it.
Flow for that.
No, about music. I mean, it's about music, not that it's got music in it.
John,
Is it a game?
John, I'm gonna.
There'll be enemies in it.
John is green lit. If you've invented a game with music in it, mate, I think that's a winning combination.
It's lit as fuck.
Fucking greenlit, boy.
I think Matt could come up with a very unknown rapper that could be in this.
Yes, little
name
man
of Dr. Dre.
No. So you see things like Game Maker and people making their own games with that, and I think, oh, that must be amazing. But honestly, I don't think I have a single game idea. I've thought, oh yeah, there's so many options nowadays. People can make their own games very easily at home with this software, and people have made some amazing games from that software. But I don't think I've got it in me. I wish I had the ideas, but I don't.
You haven't got it in you to complete a game, let alone complete
exactly
designing a game.
If I've got time, I'm going to try and attempt to turn the game on, let alone... I don't like that. I'm not going to have time to build a game. I wish I had the inclination and motivation knowledge, but
I wish I had time to build a game. Go on.
What was that?
Right. Oodles. Oodles... Fucking hell. Oodles felt the need to say he got his yearly prostate exam this week. Have any of you guys been through it? If not, please consider booking an appointment. That's a very good statement. It's something I need to do, so,
Do we?
People of a certain age.
Isn't there an age where you're supposed to start going?
Yeah. I heard over 30, get it up there.
Really? I haven't had one. Yeah.
Well, you've had a boat up there, mate.
Yeah, but that wasn't a prostate. That was just a tube on my bum to see if I had something wrong with me. Prostate sounds fun.
I think, but the thing is, right, I think, like, I've got no qualms with going to do that. I genuinely haven't got no qualms with going to do that. But I'm sure that there's an age where you're supposed to start going, and I would feel funny about literally going to the doctor and saying, "Can I have one, please?"
Is it now, doctor?
That's the bit.
2 more years. Is it now? You were here last week, mate. Is it? You were here yesterday?
And me just eventually just pulling my trousers down and bending over in front of him. Like, well, I'm halfway done now. You might as well complete the job.
My keys, doctor. Is it time?
No, I mean, this is part of the problem, isn't it? Saying stuff like that. That's part of the problem. I think Oodles is correct. Can't get it done.
Apparently, it's like 40 onwards. So, Oodles, you're young.
So I've got a few years to go yet.
Right. Tom Howard, are any of you going to play Into the Breach, the new game from the makers of FTL, which is out tomorrow, or yesterday as you're listening to this, if you're listening to it.
It's done really well in reviews, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably the game I'm most looking forward to over the next few months. I'm going to get this tomorrow because FTL is superb. Yeah, but I got PC lid.
Yeah. What is it? What type of game is it?
It's a turn-based strategy game. But
then no.
Yeah, I don't think it's your cup of tea, but did you play FTL? What a fucking genius game that is. I didn't.
No, I've heard nothing but good things, but when there's a genre that you go, yeah, I'm not even going to attempt. That's one of them.
Yeah, it looks like something I could be able to run on the laptop, so I'll get that tomorrow. Talk about it next week.
Yeah,
but,
cool.
Yeah, FTL.
Also, if any game that comes out, I look at the website or whatever page is advertising it. I'm like, there's not a Switch logo there. I'm out. Like I
must admit, I was disappointed when I saw it as PC only. It'll probably make its way to other things.
The contrast between like playing a game like that on the Switch and on a PC is unreal, isn't it? You get it on the Switch, you take it anywhere, play it wherever you want, turn on the power button, and you're in the game within a second. Like playing it on PC, it's like walking over to your desk, pressing that button. Like logging into your fucking Windows machine. Fuck that. You squares. You absolute squares. Is that it? Are we done for questions?
No, don't James me. I'm fucking just waiting for you to finish your stupid rant about squares. Right, Nick says, will the JoyPod's partner survey be making a return for John and Matt? I don't know what that is. What is that?
I read this and thought, Matt, have you not done this?
No, because I'm sure when there's the option last time we said there's no point. But haven't never done it. Yeah,
right. Okay, so if you didn't know but back if you don't know the history of the show, I used to do a show called Joypod, and on that we did a partners survey where we each sent a survey, like the same questions, to our other halves, and then they had to email it back to another person on the show, and we read the answers out on the show. John, Nat wouldn't be up for that, would she?
No.
Really? She totally wouldn't be up for it, or are you saying that you wouldn't want her to answer those questions? They were simple things like, what games annoy you and stuff like
that. Probably none, because I play them in a different room, but... Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Right, moving on. Alex79UK.
What a team player.
Well, it's not, it's Joypod, isn't it? So it's not even the same thing. Alex79UK. Hi, lads. Question for tonight. Have you seen the new Rocket League Hot Wheels yet? It looks awesome. And got me thinking, what video games do you think could make great real-life toys? Cheers and good luck with the live show. Oh, thank you. I didn't know they existed. I've not seen Rocket League Hot Wheels.
Oh my God, have you not seen it? It's incredible.
No, I've not.
Oh my God. No, it was... so it's a big tabletop game that you play with your app.
Oh, it's an actual game?
Wow, yeah, what? Oh God, yeah.
God, was this last week? It's
tabletop. Yeah, a couple of... It was at the Games Expo thing that was, I don't know what it was at, actually. I was trying to wing that and I folded.
Yeah, man.
It was like, it's in prototype. They reckon it's going to be out by Christmas. It's this huge tabletop thing where you've got remote control cars. They don't jump, they just push the ball about. But it didn't matter. It looked fun enough as it is. And yeah, it's Rocket League, but with like remote control cars. It looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I see what you mean now, because when the question, I was like, okay, well, every game's got like a toy, haven't they? Like the Dark Souls fucking toy, but they're more like figurines, aren't they? He means an actual toy that there's something that you can play with. And
and I think it's coming out for 80 quid. And when I read that, I thought, fucking hell, 80 quid, that is a lot of money for that. But then I remembered I paid the same amount for a garage, a toy garage for Harry this Christmas. Yeah. So I was kind of like, actually, that's doable. Maybe I should start slipping that into rotation on his YouTube channel, so that by the time Christmas comes out, I could be playing Rocket League in the front room.
Now we know how it works.
Yep. That's how you do it.
Do we know? Have we got any other ideas for other games that could make great real life toys?
It's hard. They need to be like. They can't obviously be anything like Assassin's Creed or anything like that's too big. It's got to be sort of single screen stuff. And I can't really. Maybe FIFA, but with like little men, and a little ball.
Go on.
And you sort of flick them, and then they knock the ball into the goal. Maybe that one.
Maybe that one.
I kind of stamped on your terrible joke there. Sorry, Dave.
It was a decent joke, but then you didn't trust me. You didn't trust me. You just want to go. I think they've already Sabutio guys. You ruined it. Matt, any ideas?
I mean,
good.
No.
Next question.
So no. And now, finishing off the tweets, perhaps the best. What?
You literally did just move on. I thought we were going to let Matt have his moment, but no.
No. Moving on. Perhaps the best tweet I've had in my time doing this, from Mickey Feckin' Duffy, Chunky Duffy on Twitter. Are there any games... Sorry. Are there any games that MAF Murray is good at?
Are there any games that Math's good at?
I mean, no.
You're not bad at Sega Rally.
Sega, yeah, I'll bet you at that, yes. I mean, any of the old Sega racing games, I'd dedicate...
You give him a compliment and he goes straight at you, Dave.
I know. It's just, I'm used to it now. And also, I'm not that worried because we played... We went on actual go-karts and I beat him twice.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're better at the computer game, but when it comes to real-life racing, mate, you ain't got the chops, know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'll beat you at Sega Rally, and that's the real quiz. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm just not good at anything really. I mean, I'm bossing Dark Souls, but apart from that, easy game, new.
No, yeah, you parried the archers in Dark Souls. That's all right.
Yeah, that's a good shout. This is what I said, though. I mean, we've discussed this before, John. Like, when you give Matt a compliment or whatever, like, I love it when Matt does something really good on Dark Souls, but within 5 seconds of him celebrating, I get angry at him and just think, oh, you're a prick, Matt.
But I thought you said, one of the best things about you doing Dark Souls, Matt, is that you'll really see it in your face. You'll really see the emotion when you do something good. And now you're saying, don't
yeah,
celebrate.
But there's a difference between going, yes, I can't believe I got through it, and then you going, yeah, like a glove, I smashed that, easy. Like, and you just like, okay, don't push it. Like, just
push it
celebrate. Don't gloat. There's a difference between celebrating and gloat. It's a little bit like a cult and niche, but whatever. Let's go.
That's it? Well, yeah, I mean, how could you beat a tweet like that to end things? Good tweets, and we've got some games next week, so I'm happy about that. Thank you very much, all. End Matt, in brackets, it says on the doc.
Matt, remembering that we might have some new listeners this week, what should people do on social media?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter where you're listening from, be it on Apple Podcasts, of which we are there, or Dash Radio, if you're in the States or wherever you are listening to that.
Or in Snoop Dogg's front room.
Yes, or maybe you're Snoop Dogg yourself.
Yeah, yes to the D.
Yeah. But yeah, we're on every podcast service known to man or woman. But if you want to tweet us, it's at Computer Game Pod. You can email the show, thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, on Instagram, we're everywhere. We'd love your Apple podcast reviews; those really help us. I do streams on Twitch every Sunday night from 9 o'clock. I'm streaming Dark Souls currently. We want to do more streams, but so email us and let us know what you might want us to stream. And we've got a Discord. Go to bit.ly/TGCS Discord to join people in our Discord community as well.
Also, it's that time of the month again. If you've enjoyed the past month's worth of podcasts, then we will lay down our hats in front of us like street performers, but we won't glare at you if you walk away like they do, and show you up in front of everyone. You can send us a little tip to say thank you for the past months of free content. What's the address, Matt?
It's paypal.me/thecomputergameshow.
We'll catch you next week, hopefully with a 4-man show. Sorry it's been down to 3 this week, but I think we've carried it. To be honest with you, apart from John not giving a fuck about the news.
Shut up.
I think we've carried it. Thanks for living it. We'll catch you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.